This is Abnormal Entertainment.
Okay.
Are we sure our microphone isn't gonna... Oh, no, never mind.
No, it's not.
It's gonna pick up her own voice?
It's going to pick up her voice from this. Just speak.
Okay.
Yeah, it's loud enough.
Okay.
I don't hear it anymore. I was hearing it a lot before, though.
Cool. Okay, that's good. Get this. See a soul.
All right. Hello.
Hi.
And welcome to the show.
Yeah, are we recording?
Yes.
Oh, welcome to Each Sleep Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew. Call us Anita.
Hello.
That was really fast.
Call us DVB.
And maybe unintelligible.
Maybe.
Call us Ellen.
Hello.
Stevie B's talking about the whole time. People are gonna think that you're one.
I said hello already, so...
Yeah, but then he was like, oh, that was really fast.
I mean, after 150 episodes, they should know who he is by now.
Yeah, everybody should know the sound of my voice by now.
140. This is the 150.
Yeah,
It's been 149, but we've had bonus episodes, guys.
I thought you were going to say that.
Oh, they're in the count.
Bonus episodes haven't counted in the count. We don't number those ones.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
no.
Oh, well. Hey, how's it going?
And then it descended into silence. What's up, Evelyn?
Nothing much. How is your VR experience?
It was good.
I was going to say,
That's why
but
you guys are all there.
you might have been wondering why Evelyn's the only one soundless. She's coming through a tunnel. Because everyone's at my house right now.
In the same tunnel.
In the same tunnel.
Won't we sound like we're coming through a tunnel, too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, we'll
You
have like
guys
a
do.
weird
The
echo.
sound is really weird from you guys.
That's fine. That's fixable, though.
Ew.
I'm not saying I'm going to do it.
But it could be fixed.
Could be fixed.
It could also be an animated episode on YouTube if we were going to do that.
No, by now. We don't do it.
Yeah.
VR is good. I like. We're over at Juan's testing out the HTC Vive, and I like it a lot better than the PlayStation VR.
Oh.
But
Does that mean you're going to return your PSVR?
I already sold it on eBay, and it's gone.
Wow.
Yeah. Gio still has his, but I don't have a computer good enough to run a Vive,
I
so...
can't really say it. I haven't turned my VR on since I had the PS4 Pro.
I can say that I've used my VR every day since I got it. So.
Yeah. It's
That's
more
a-
interesting.
It does look a lot easier to turn on.
Have you checked out, I don't know if there's a demo or anything, Lucky's Tale? I've heard is more of like a game.
That's an
game.
Oculus game.
Oh, is it?
But it's
okay.
weird. It's, have you tried, because you probably haven't tried it, but you tried the Playroom VR game thing?
Yeah.
They have those kinds of games there where it's like a really, really close platformer. I mean, those are fine.
Okay, is that what it is? It's a close
To me, like,
platform?
it kind of, like, the whole point of VR is always being in first person.
Yeah,
sometime.
it being you.
I mean, most of the games I have are shooters because that's kind of what exists right now.
And it's easier because
It's
you don't have to just run in and
Yeah.
stuff.
Everyone who's into it is very aware of the very mono genre there is right now. Like,
Yeah.
there's a few more games that are like more like survival games. I have a couple of those. Mm-hmm. We actually played a little bit of Keep Talking and everyone
Oh, I love
Keep talking and no one explodes.
and no one explodes. That was really
I
cool.
love that game.
Yeah. Which is a good example of another way that VR can be used.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I like the shooters though.
Shooters are fun.
It was good 1-to-1 motion, which I didn't think about until right now. But I had no issues where I felt like it wasn't reading what I was doing.
Yeah, well, that's what I was trying. Especially Gio, because Gio was the one. I guess who played more VR than you might have, because you said you got motion sick playing the PSVR. Because I know the feeling of using the PSVR. He kind of stayed in one spot, and I was like, "You can move around, like it'll track you."
Yeah.
And then once he kind of figured that out, it was, he was dodging. He
Yeah.
was like, it's.
I didn't hit your TV at one
Yeah,
point. I walked too far forward.
Steve, watch out! And then, okay. But yeah, you see, like room scale is kind of the way that it should be.
Yeah.
So having been the one guy who tried all three, like that's honest. Like, and it's funny. Like I keep saying, like it's the one that I was most wary about because it's the most expensive.
Yep.
It's $800 out of without any discounts or anything like that. And I always heard that you needed you can't use your glasses with it, but it turns out the other ones are a little less glasses friendly. Mm-hmm. At least for me. I know
My
you didn't
glasses
have.
were a little weird today.
Yeah, you didn't have. I don't have. Are my glasses bigger than yours? a little smaller.
I think it's the shape.
It's the shape, probably. Yeah, I have metal glasses, but
Like the edges of my glasses were hitting up against the corner, and this is dirty. Actually.
but yeah, I mean, those are my impressions. Like, what did you guys think?
I really liked it.
Yeah,
It's all like the same shit to me.
it is, but it's better. It's like the appropriate way.
I didn't notice the difference, to be honest. But like you said, that was because I couldn't really adjust it to my things. Like,
Yeah.
It was actually easy for me. The PSVR felt better because like I didn't feel like this thing was pulling my face forward.
So you mean
while
like
I was
physically?
doing it. Yeah, I physically felt like the vibe makes me feel like my face is being pulled forward, which is part of like I wouldn't call it motion sickness, but the dizziness that I got from playing that bomb game because I was standing still with my face being pulled forward for so long.
Right.
Yeah, and part of it, I think, is when they come out with that, the ability to have that adjustable knob, because it was too... I think my head is just smaller than yours, so it was slipping forward a
Right,
little bit
yeah.
when I was playing.
That's
Yeah.
different, yeah.
So I needed
happens-
I needed to be able to tighten it.
Yeah, but yeah, like the games just kind of felt the same to me. Like the games that I guess would graphically look better wouldn't be games that I'm really attracted to in VR.
But it's not even just about graphics. Like there is no game like what you played on the PSVR, and there can't be, really.
What do you
And
mean?
I'm okay with that because those are the games that I would play.
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah.
But those other, I'm just saying, like, we didn't try most of the games I have. I have other games. I have tons of those games that are actually on, but not tons of them. A couple of them are on PSVR also. But these are like, yeah, I mean, that's understandable. I like shooting games.
Yeah.
I think that's obvious. And a game where I can actually, like, physically
But the
move around.
shooting just felt weird in the VR. Like it didn't feel right. But I don't know. I wouldn't be that attracted to a shooting game anyway, so it's fine.
You should have tried the sword, that's what it was.
I should have tried this sword.
Because Steve was having a whale of a time.
I
with
also
the sword.
shouldn't.
Yeah, I almost had a whale on your TV.
I shouldn't have the thing where I had to hold on to it.
That's also
really
another
weird. Because it's like, I understand the idea of it, but it doesn't feel like you're actually holding on to something, so it just feels really weird.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because there's no weight to it.
Yeah.
Like, if it had weight to it, then the idea of holding onto it would have made sense. And a cooler thing, instead, would be like, it knows if I let go, because I have the strap, so I could let go of the remote to let go of the condom. For some reason, that made sense too.
Yeah. Well, you also played a game that's not finished.
Okay, that's fair.
So
That's
that
a
makes
lot
sense,
of people.
You played more than he did.
Yeah, I liked the zombie one. I mean, that was just a shooter, but I was spinning around in circles and shooting things. I do agree, especially with a shooting game, it would have been nice if the gun had weight to it. Like at one point, I was holding an AK-47 one-handed because it wasn't set to hold two-handed, which felt really weird. But it was cool, and I like being able to grab the gas cans and try to shoot them in midair and things like that. It tracked better, which I thought was good. Job Simulator, was nice to finally do that with space so I could actually complete a level, which is amusing, but at the end of the day, you play it once and I feel like I'd be done with Job Simulator. It's more proving what you can do than making a game that's worth redoing. Was there another one we tried?
Yeah.
Oh, the Valve Lab.
Oh, yeah.
With the robot, which, I mean, you don't do anything, you're just playing through a short...
Little.
It's like press the button here, press the button here. But it was amusing. It looked good, and it ran pretty well. So it was literally the video I saw a year ago when they showed the demo of it. But I liked it. It's cool. So, like I said, I can't really get a Vive, but if I were going to get a VR unit, if I could have one of the VR units, that's the one I would want.
Definitely.
Do the controls change for the Stop Talking game?
No, use a controller still. You don't actually use the motion controllers. So you just have the VR headset on and you use a regular game controller.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So that would be
I
cool.
just was wondering that
if
because
you could
we
use-
played on PC before.
Yeah, that's what we played. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, that'd be tough if you had to use the motion controller and cut a particular wire.
That'd be cool. Like, you have to be very particular and zoom it in and
Yeah.
snip it. But yeah.
I was impressed overall.
Gio is not.
Yeah.
No, it's not bad. It's,
Joe doesn't see the difference.
I don't see the difference.
It's because I'll turn him. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Because it'll You'll turn me.
Yeah, I'll what's the?
He's gonna turn you.
I'm gonna turn you around. Turn you around. There you go.
He's gonna spin you right around.
Yeah.
And thrust real hard.
No, my dog will do that.
Nothing like a little. Gio is now acting out bestiality in a very impressive and accurate description that would raise questions of anyone
The
watching.
PSVR.
Speaking
Yeah.
of Pornhub, put out
Their
stats
bestiality version. Their stats for what?
for the year.
Yeah, didn't we? Wasn't that covered on that other podcast you mentioned every time on this podcast like 3 weeks ago?
No, this
No,
just
it
came
came
out.
out yesterday.
I saw it.
I thought they were talking about it with they talked about it with the voice actor whose name not Nolan North, the other
They
one.
talked about it, but they
Yeah.
didn't talk about the stats.
They did. They went through the top 10 list.
Oh, that's just exists.
What podcast?
I don't want to say it because he mentioned. I wanted there to be one episode in the last
He's talking
100,
about-
the last 30 where it didn't come up, but now
Yeah,
we've
we're
continued
talking
to the
about
trend.
Troy Baker.
Troy Baker, yes, Troy Baker. They went through the top 10 and they read through the list, starting at 10, working their way up to 1. I remember it. But if you want to talk about it, we can. Maybe they put out
Is there
updated.
anything interesting?
It's a lot of family stuff.
Oh yeah, because I remember on the
MILF,
show they
incest.
talked about that. Yeah,
Yeah, it was the Troy Baker episode. But if they put out a new list, let's. So Evelyn, you seem like a young, modern woman who's in touch with her sexuality. What's your top 10 search on porn websites? Notice how I'm being very.
She's sick and she took.
Notice how I'm being very. I just wanted to be super equal opportunity there.
I haven't searched for porn in a long time.
I know, I got it.
It's not me saying.
And it's not the hot.
It's not the Han.
You don't look at Han porn?
No.
I don't even think that's a thing.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that's an untapped market.
It is. You can search Asian and you can search specifically Japanese, but I don't think you can get into every single. I mean, you could use a search word, but it's not a tag.
You can get Korean.
Yeah, you could look up the word Korean, but in most places it's not like a tag.
How would you know though?
No, it's a box.
Is it really?
It's a box.
All right. Now we know something about Gio.
It's a box for sure.
Now we know.
I could name I think 20 of the boxes
I could name a lot of them too, but I've never seen that as one of them.
in Pornhub.
Yeah,
Really?
Korean. Yeah, I've never seen
It's
that.
towards the bottom because it's K.
It's not. It's it's actually in the middle and closer to the front because K is the 12th letter of the alphabet.
No, but
I love how you just knew that. It's
M is the
12
13th.
Oh, okay.
That's the only reason I know. KL. Oh, I'm wrong. Anyways, it's the 11th. I just know M and N is the middle point.
Okay.
But I was just amazed because he's like, it's at the bottom. I'm like, that's not where K is.
it's definitely a box.
I think you say it's on the bottom because it's not that popular.
I think it's because it's not that popular.
Okay, that I would
boxes
believe.
because they're not popular.
Okay.
Yeah.
Clearly, I've not been on Pornhub recently.
I think this is not a new thing. I think it's been there for a while. I can at least, in my recent memory of the past year and a half, say that's been there.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I happen to have spent any time on any such websites, I've not noticed Korean as a filter term.
Is it because you stop at J?
Yes. And that one's much higher on the list.
It is. I don't have to go down to.
Popular.
I don't have to go down to J for that.
It's also the next letter is alphabetical. It's gonna be A, J, A, and then you don't have to go that much farther down anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what other J terms.
Jailbait, obviously.
Jewish. Oh. Yeah, and that would be before Japanese, anyways.
That would be
That
weird.
goes in
Yeah.
18.
That's true.
Yeah, you can't use the term jailbait.
No, you can't because did Reddit get in trouble for that?
That
They
is
did, yeah.
That is a term that they used to use. I think they got rid of it.
Yeah, because
PC police.
well, also it's very
The very meaning of it.
it's literally jailbait.
Yes.
Besides
It's
the
illegal.
sexual connotation.
Bait, but it's like close.
Yeah,
No, no.
exactly. So like you don't
That's
know
like
the fact. The fact
No,
that
no,
you
no.
don't know.
No, the initial meaning of jailbait is this would literally get you in jail, and then there's fake jailbait,
Yeah.
which is where it's quote unquote teen, but it's not. I mean, they're like 19 or 20, or they're older and pretending. But jailbait itself is illegal,
Yeah, exactly.
just like scouting is illegal. To take it back about 80 episodes.
Yeah.
Is it illegal?
Yes, that's what jailbait is. By the way, you're scouting
Well,
jailbait.
scouting, I guess. Not
Scouting itself isn't.
It's creepy as hell.
Yeah, it's creepy as hell.
Whatsoever.
You're scouting jailbait to tie it in together.
Yeah, you scout jailbait.
Yeah, you're scouting jailbait. I just want to be clear on that. So now that we've put this out there, So what are the top 10, Gio, since you brought it up and you want to talk about it? Where's the list?
Like top 10 movies of this
No, not... What? Yes, your top 10 porn movies of this year. You said Pornhub released their top 10 list. What is
Batman
it?
vs Superman.
No. They released their stats.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
They always
What
have
stats?
their top 10. That's a revolving thing. Like,
What's
it changes.
what do you mean what stats they put out?
Like the amount of downloads they got.
You got it?
countries
You're bringing it up.
that
What is
they
it?
have. I don't have it in front of me.
Why not?
I don't know.
You brought it up like you want to talk about it.
I do remember that I was very surprised by the 1, 2, and 3 was like U.S. was number 1, obviously, with the most downloads.
No, I would have... I mean, if you told me it was China, I wouldn't have been surprised.
China's not on it.
They probably control it.
Japan's on it. Korea's not on it. Belgium was on it, which I thought was weird.
What?
Finland,
Belgium?
and Switzerland, yeah.
They make movies?
I'm trying to. No. It's
No.
top downloads from that country. So it was the UK. I think UK was number 2 or 3. There you go.
Luckily, one of us is actually going to pull it up.
Scroll down to the little.
Nope, I'm reading. If you want it, you can pull it up on your own phone. Let's see. That is a ridiculous number of data. 23 billion visits, 64 million per day.
So
hours of
number
porn
2
watched.
was Iceland, which I thought was crazy, but it's per capita.
What's per capita views? Yeah. There's probably like 8 people in Iceland jacking that number up.
I mean, what else are you gonna do in Iceland?
Yeah. 3rd is UK, 4th is Canada, 5th is New Zealand, 6th is Ireland. That's real specific. 7th is Norway.
Ireland's a different
8th is Australia.
than the UK.
I know, I'm just saying it's such a small place that's surprising.
Per capita.
I understand it's still surprising.
Iceland's weird.
9th is Sweden and 10th is the Netherlands.
He's the state voice.
Yeah. Actually, here we go. Top 20 traffic countries in general. United States just crushing it, 3 times as big as the next biggest, which is the UK.
It's more than 3 times.
Then
It's like
Canada.
slightly-
It looks like if you take the numbers off and all the letters, just left the
It's
countries.
3 times as
You
much.
could say that's probably the military budget because it looks exactly the same.
So then it goes United Kingdom, Canada, India, Japan. India, okay. France, Germany, Australia, Italy, Brazil, Mexico, Russia. Here we go, Search Watch. For the second year in a row, lesbian was the number 1 search term worldwide, and then stepmom, and then MILF. Yeah, it's a lot of family stuff, which is weird. An all-new term that shot into our top search results this year is Overwatch. Cuckold isn't new for this year.
Yeah, but it was big this year. It was the year of cuckolding.
No, it was made into an insult.
Yeah, which is dumb. Let's see if there's any words in here that would be surprising. Nothing surprising, just one that's really specific. Lesbian scissoring is number 12.
No, I'm looking at the ranking change. Overwatch went from 452 to number 10. Is that it?
Where's... Oh, really?
Yeah, that's fun.
It's not even number 10. It's like... Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah. That's insane.
But some people are trying to contest Game of the Year. This game has literally changed the way that the world works.
Ebony jumped up 12 spots from last year. So, okay, good for them.
Yeah, no more racism.
And Massage jumped up 63 spots. So, that's wholesome.
Since they tried to make it illegal up in Montreal.
452 spot jump for Overwatch. That's crazy. Huh. And the only other weird thing is in the U.S., most top search terms in the U.S., celebrity sex tape is number 15, which wasn't that last year? So that's interesting that that's still coming up.
Whatchamacallit, a sex tape this year. Nobody.
Yeah.
No, Miley has one every year. And
It's called a music video.
I'm sure one of the Kardashians has one out. And, that video of the robbery is going to be coming out soon.
This is interesting. So there's a picture. There's
I told you, it's the year. Maybe 2017 is the year of the cuckold.
There's a couple pictures showing the popularity of certain terms by countries. So, like massage, for example, is pretty popular in what appears to be Iceland and some other places. Lesbian, more in North America. Hentai over in Asia. Weirdly, mom is very popular in Northern Africa and Russia and Asia.
That's weird.
Yeah, and then whereas if you go to MILF, it goes North America. That's weird. So anyway, those are the stats. This is funny. Time spent per visit.
That should be funny.
Number 1, Who do you think spends the most time in a single visit on Pornhub?
Oh, I thought you were going to say like how much time the average person spends on it.
If that's what it is, yeah. Per this country. So, like, by country, what is the average a person spends? Which do you think is the number one country?
I'm going to go with I don't know exactly a country, but probably a very repressed country.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
Russia.
Evelyn, any guesses?
UK.
Philippines. Yep. Philippines, and then South Africa, and then the United States. So, better question.
How much?
How much time do you think a person from those countries spends on? Just keep in mind, what you're about to say out loud is a judgment against all people in that country.
Also, where my roommate.
I think her roommate is also from there.
Yes.
2 minutes.
2 minutes?
Is that too short?
Yeah, that's too short. That's really bad.
20 minutes.
I mean, you're looking at my phone.
No, I'm not looking.
I think we just learned a lot about your roommate.
Is it 20 minutes? I didn't look. Oh, shit.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that wasn't even a Steve joke right there. That was like a Geo joke. Steve.
You said 20 minutes.
Yeah,
20 minutes?
That's what he said.
Yeah, I asked.
It's like 10 minutes.
10 minutes, yeah. So Philippines is 12 minutes and 45 seconds. Then it gets down to 10 minutes for those countries. Towards the bottom of the list, Japan, 7 minutes and 27 seconds.
That's good for them.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
The Japanese are very efficient. They know what they want right away.
That's pretty low. The shortest duration countries are like, it's weird. It's countries you wouldn't pick, like Moldova, Georgia, Armenia, Ukraine, Belarus, Colombia, Kazakhstan. I'm thinking that's just because they can load up one video before their internet quits.
Probably.
Also, just one last, well, maybe not last because these are pretty funny, but average time per visit by states. Mississippi is at the top for longest visits. And then Alabama, Arkansas, and Louisiana.
Where does New York fall into those?
I don't even know if New York is in their list because we don't appear towards the top or the bottom. I mean, we're talking like a 2-minute difference overall. States that came and left faster than others include Oregon, Utah, and Kansas. Also, I don't know, that's weird. New York's right about in the middle.
Is that here?
Not here.
Oh.
We won't hear it twice this time.
Only one time.
Only one time.
Favorite times to watch porn, not surprising at all.
Middle of the day,
Yeah.
work hours.
Morning.
Top.
Did I ever tell you guys that I saw on the bus home? I don't know. This just reminded me. There was an older gentleman with his phone bright as
I
hell.
think he was a gentleman.
No, he was not. Well, I mean, whatever you like, you like.
I have more to share.
He was watching. He was looking at gay porn
Huh.
Oh.
on the bus,
Uh-oh.
and mind you, he had an aisle seat, so people could easily see.
Yeah. So there's more to share. It's amusing in this. One, this is just interesting. The top gaining searches in the U.S., there's 5 of them. VR. Okay. Burglar and robbers. And then Star Wars and Harley Quinn. Who do you think the top number 1 porn star on Pornhub was?
Wait.
I don't know any of the recent ones.
What's this girl's name? Damn it. I forgot her name, but I think it's the Arab girl.
Mia?
Oh yeah,
Khalifa?
she's
number 2.
Oh, she went down the... She's not making as many videos.
So who do you think number 1 is? I'll give you a hint. We all know this person.
Oh really?
Yeah. And Evelyn has downloaded her app.
Kim Kardashian?
Kim Kardashian is the number 1 top porn star on Pornhub.
Still, wow.
Still?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Because everybody was waiting for that video of the robbery.
Kim Kardashian is still being searched for more than any other porn star. Exactly. Well, that might be why burglar's on there too. So here's
He's on a roll today.
here's a weird one because then it goes to the UK. Their top gaining searches are very different, including, Harley Quinn and robbers are still on there. Cuckold is also getting on there. The largest search, and I don't understand this, so somebody explain this to me. Giantess is up 354%.
Wait, giant testicles?
No, giantess, like a female giant. Giantess.
Oh.
I don't
know what that means.
Is that a porn star over there?
Nope, it's a term. It's a search term.
What?
And
Oh, your face is so big.
another surprise from Canada. Canada, mostly the same.
Is it
but
gaming? The
No,
Giantess thing?
I don't think so. It could be. It could be a thing from a game. It doesn't
Because
say.
I just put Giantess in it, and I got Life is Strange.
Giantess.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
There was nobody was giant in that game
I didn't play that game.
Maybe.
except for the squirrel. There was a giant squirrel in the
It's
last.
a lot of pictures of the two characters. I forgot their names.
That's weird. I don't get it. It doesn't explain
No, it
here
doesn't.
what that is. The only other one worth pointing out for Canada is Minecraft. It was up 195% as a search term.
That's weird.
People are fucking
How
weird.
can you tell which one is the X, Y, B, and A?
Colors.
You can't see that though.
I know them. I played an Xbox before.
I wouldn't remember. Did they finally get rid of the batteries?
No, it says batteries. I had to buy rechargeable batteries.
It's so stupid. That's why I don't have my Xbox.
Okay, I have to read Japan's because it's Japan. Also, I do just want to say Kim Kardashian was also top in the United Kingdom, but she dropped off the list for the other countries. India has some girl named Sunny Leone, and Japan has all Japanese people.
That's not an Indian girl.
I don't know who she is.
She's an American.
Is she? Okay, Riley Reid was top in Canada, so she's
She
not
has
Canadian.
An Indian background, but not the Indian that you think. Native American.
Oh.
What?
So
Forward-thinking country.
Japan, has the search terms are very specifically Japanese, including MMD. I don't know what that is, but the top gaining searches
It's a bomb.
in MMD.
Yeah, isn't it?
No, you're thinking of IED.
Yeah.
MMD is a bomb.
Top gaining searches in Japan. Japan Sex Game Show.
I've seen videos of
Amateur
this.
ass, whatever. Magic Mirror Car has gone up 426%, which sounds like a weird spin-off of the Magic School Bus, but on late night
Miku
programming.
Dance. It's an animated freeware animation program that lets users animate and create 3D animation movies.
That's what Magic Mirror Car is?
I'll just know MMD. And I
Oh.
said this is the first image when I put MMD. So that makes sense.
Weird.
It's just anime girls.
And then Euphoria and Spy Cam. So Japan being really creepy with the Spy Cam usage.
Of course.
That's gross.
France had Periscope. That's a word that was being searched for.
Oh, like the Twitter thing?
Yeah.
Germany specifically, 239% increase in Skyrim searches, and 141% increase in ball busting, which sounds like being mean to someone.
No.
No, it's.
I mean,
literal
it's
ball-
probably something else,
It's
but
literal ball busting.
oh, that's disgusting. Germany, you're the worst.
No, it doesn't look like what you think it looks like. You
First,
stopped from completing your action.
No, it's not. It's literal ball
no,
busting.
that's blue balls.
No, that's the
No, it's literal ball busting.
Yeah, that's a real thing. Blue balls.
Blue balls are-
Yeah,
Oh,
They don't stop it.
yeah. Evelyn, what's that term?
Full off.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a term for it. You like.
Yeah, so
part
anyways,
of it,
I'm just scrolling down through. Italy also had Giantess for whatever that is. And Pompino, I don't know what that is. Otherwise, nothing crazy.
I think
Oh,
the
wait.
joke is played out.
There's one last... No, this is where I'm ending it.
Steve's like, no, it's not.
You'll
You
appreciate
start
this
on
one.
this path, you will finish.
The last one I'm going to point out, Brazil saw
Average is 7 minutes.
108% increase in fart. That's the last one I want to point out.
Ew.
Yeah, so I'm done now.
Thanks, Steve.
I'm gonna time how
Another
long that
news.
segment took, and then we're gonna have to add it to that list.
We're going to have to add it to the list. I came in under the U.S., but... So, yeah.
Is that the only thing interesting that's happened lately?
No, I think you and I watched some movies.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, you
Well,
did.
I watched a movie. You watched movies.
Am
Oh
I
no,
the person that
what?
watched all these movies?
I think so. Yeah, I watched.
Alright, well, I'll give my top 10 for the year.
I didn't watch. Yeah, I don't even know.
I've watched enough movies this year
This year, it's
that
not
came
too-
out from this year to give my top 10. And I will, full disclosure, say that I have not seen La La Land. And, I mean, I don't think you really want to hear my opinion on that movie because it's a musical, so the odds that I like it are very low. But it is supposed to be like the musical that is the best musical. And it's going to get, Ryan Gosling's going to prance into his Oscar. So everybody likes it, but whatever.
It's hot.
Yeah, you deserve an Oscar for being hot. I think that's fair. Cool. So I'm gonna do my top 10 list. My number one that I saw yesterday, Live by Night. Like top, like hands down best movie of the year. I thought. Like I don't know what to say about it, but
That was your best movie of the
That's
year,
right.
not Batman vs Superman.
no, Batman vs Superman is number 2.
Really?
So
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
both
Batman
movies
v-
starring the same actor. I'm not sensing any bias there whatsoever.
No, I think Ben Affleck really killed it this year. Like he had 3 movies that he didn't do.
What's the
badly
third
at
one?
all.
Oh, they count.
Like as
Oh.
an actor, he did really
Yeah.
well.
He was not the weak point in any of those movies.
And
Yeah.
yeah, no. He
Some are
counted,
more
like,
obvious than others.
Yeah.
He
obviously.
counted, like I don't know. I think he counts a really good
This
movie.
is- this-
It's not a movie that I want to put on a top 10 list because it's one of those movies you watch once,
Once
and
and
you're,
say, yeah.
like you're good.
It's like that was fun.
Yeah.
But you'll never. It's a job simulator of movies.
It is. But
I'm gonna do everything in VR terms now.
Yep. All right.
yeah, number 1 was Live by Night. Number 2, Batman v Superman. Oh, what do I have to say about? Well, we can talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
Because
gives me
it's
time to
time.
like think. Number 2 is Batman v Superman. Number 3 was this movie, The Hollers, that I saw, which Jim Krasinski, the
Jim
guy
Krasinski,
Krasinski.
Give me his name.
the guy from The Office.
Wait,
Jim in the
Office.
Yeah.
Whose name I think is
John
John
Krasinski.
Krasinski.
Yeah, John Krasinski.
Who's married to Emily Blunt.
Married to Emily Blunt. This movie was really good. It tugged at my heartstrings. And when movies tug at my heartstrings, they get on my list. So it was really I highly suggest that movie. Then number 4 was Don't Breathe. That's a really good movie. You guys gotta watch that. It's
I don't know what that is.
I've seen it. I know the bad guy from Avatar, isn't it?
yeah, Bad Guy from Avatar. Very simple movie. It's about these 3 kids trying to rob this old blind dude.
Jane Lego.
If you watch the trailer, you think that you get told a big spoiler in the movie, and then you find out like 15 minutes into
Oh, this guy.
15 minutes into the movie that it's not that big of a spoiler because the movie is not what you think it's about.
Okay.
Crazy thriller, like it had me on the edge of my seat. And I just saw Green Room yesterday. I was trying to do the same exact thing. It's like Green Room was just grotesque and like, you know, what I would expect from a horror movie. This was a horror movie that you have trouble classifying as a horror movie because it doesn't do any of the typical horror things. But man, does it fucking pull at you the way a horror movie does. Like, there are moments where you're just like yelling at the TV and you're like, what just fucking happened? So I highly recommend that one. Number 5, I would say, is. Let's think back to some other stuff that I saw.
I thought you wrote them down.
No,
Yeah.
I just wrote down a bunch of movies that I like.
Just read the bunch of movies and stop putting them in an order then.
These are
since
all of
it's-
my thing.
Oh, you said what was that Japanese movie?
After the Storm, I think that would be 7 for me.
Okay.
I think 5 would be.
You said it. Don't breathe.
Oh, 5 is Don't Breathe. So 6 is. What's that I really like this year? None of the I feel like none of the blockbusters I really liked that I would watch again, other than Batman v Superman, Avi. Civil War, I think, should have made my list. It's more like an 11 or 12 because of that hour of the movie that I really just don't care for. Number 6, I think Morris from America. I think that's a very enjoyable.
What's it called?
Morris from America.
Where is that?
It's who's the black guy from The Office? The Falcon.
Craig?
Robinson.
Craig Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
He moves over to Germany with his son to like coach some soccer team, and his son is just like it's like a coming of age sort of thing, where his son's like growing up in Germany, and you would think it was going to be like about race and shit, and maybe 5 minutes of it is, but if not, but most of it isn't, and it's mostly just like this kid growing up in a different country and having to deal with like being 14 or I think he's 13. And just being in a completely new place where he doesn't understand the language and he doesn't know anyone, and he just has his father there. That one also tugged at the heartstrings. It was really good.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah. After this, it was funny too. But I like I thought it was going to be a comedy when I saw Morris from America.
That's just
It's
funny
not a
moments.
comedy. It's just funny because it's funny. After the Storm, 7, 8, Hell or High Water. Totally not what I expected from that movie. I thought it was going to be some Western or something like that, and it's not. It's about burglaries in Texas. Makes a big like statement about the state of Middle America and how things are operating there, and how people are like kind of coming back to the Wild Wild West just because of like how the economics are. And then there's 3 really solid performances from Chris Pine, Ben Foster, and Jeff Bridges. Jeff Bridges fucking kills it in that movie. He's not the main actor. He would have been my nomination for Best Actor. He's my nomination for Best Supporting Actor this year. Him and that.
I can see that.
Yeah. What was that, 8?
Yeah.
9 and 10. I could pick 2 arbitrary. 9 and 10.
Deadpool.
Oh, Sing Street. I forgot about that.
Oh, that's on Netflix.
Yeah, Sing Street on Netflix. Sing Street, I guess I'll give that 9. That maybe should be higher on my list. But, really good movie about this kid growing up in Ireland, I believe. That or Scotland. One of those places.
Ireland.
Is that Ireland? Alright. And he starts a band because he's really into this girl. And it's sort of a musical. But not in the sense that you would think it's a musical. It's got like...
They don't just break out in song.
No, like it makes sense.
It's not really musical. It has a lot of like music in it, but it's not that.
It's labeled as a musical though.
He's physically.
Yeah. That guy, all his movies are musicals. He's the guy that made, I don't remember the name of any of his movies. He's the guy that made, like, the Irish dude, Guy, something.
Oh, that guy, Once.
Yeah, Once. Once is the name of the movie.
And he has a movie with Mark Ruffalo trying to put in an
Mark
accent.
Ruffalo. That was a shitty movie, but I like Mark Ruffalo in it. But that guy...
Begin Again,
yeah. So that guy, he makes it.
I haven't seen Once, but I've heard the soundtrack, and the soundtrack is really good.
Once is a really good movie. But yeah, he does it. Not as much of a musical as his other movies. Like his other movies break into musical, like people singing more often.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, since it's about a band, all the musical numbers revolve around the kid and his band doing something. So there's like a scene where he's like shooting his music video that turns into a musical thing. There's a scene where like he's trying to say something to this girl, turns into his musical number. He has like a daydream sort of thing, musical number, whatever. But great 80s feel. Like if you have any love for music from the 80s, is great. A lot of new wave and gothy shit and like fucking.
I listened to an unusual amount of Madonna this week.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know why.
What would be a usual amount of Madonna?
None.
Okay. And how much did you hear?
Like about 3 or 4 hours worth.
Oh, wow.
In a
Okay.
row.
Nice.
It's weird. It was mostly... Yeah, it was mostly I didn't know she sang these songs. Like, I knew the songs, obviously, because they're super popular. But I had no idea Madonna was like it. By the way, Madonna in the 80s
She's hot.
was gorgeous.
She's
Beautiful.
pretty hot.
Yeah.
What, not now?
It's not just her look, it's the style and all that stuff. But
And then my number 10, I guess I give it to Deadpool for originality, comedy, action scenes, and all that sort of stuff. This is an interesting movie. It was, that didn't come out this week. Yeah, it was an interesting movie. I feel like I haven't seen it again since it came out though.
you can borrow it in 4K. Oh, but you can't see it.
I have it on
Oh, you do.
Blu-ray, excuse me. But I don't know. I haven't had really any interest in seeing it again. But I did like it the one time I saw it. That's all I got. Those are my top 10 for this year. Not a lot of like.
I don't remember what I saw this year.
That was the sort of year there was. There was a lot of movies that I don't remember seeing.
I think the most memorable movie I saw was when we saw Swiss Army Man.
Mm-hmm.
That was definitely the most original thing I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
It's just weird in an entertaining way. I don't think I'll ever see it again.
No.
Because I don't think I need to.
What did you guys see, Sue?
Some movie theater. We just went and saw it on like a weekend.
Square, yeah.
Why are you jealous? That
You actually were invited, but
Yeah, you were.
you were definitely invited. It was in the chat.
And you said, nah, it's okay.
Yeah. So,
You something about hating Harry Potter or whatever.
yeah.
You actually didn't say that, but I would be surprised.
If that was the entire
I like
reason.
Harry Potter. I just bought the 8 DVD set.
Oh.
Or 8 Blu-ray set, whatever.
I got the first book. I'm going to read it soon. Once I finish The Magicians.
Yeah. Season 2 starts when I get back.
Yeah.
25th. Excited for that.
Yeah. What else did I see? I saw the blockbusters, of course. My favorite blockbuster was Rogue One.
Oh, duh, that's what's missing from my list. Rogue One is 3. So just move everything off.
So Deadpool does not make the top 10 list.
Yes, Deadpool does not make the top 10. So just to really quickly reiterate, Live by Night, Batman v Superman, Rogue One are my top 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Live by Night was good. I mean, I saw it this year, but I guess that's count. Yeah, I mean, like, I like the acting. I guess we can talk about it a little more.
Yeah, I saw that.
I liked the acting quite a bit. The story was a little derivative, which is fine.
What does that mean?
It means like it's like,
not a story. It's a story you've seen before.
It's easily guessable. It's like a very ABC kind of story.
Yeah. Okay.
This is Ben Affleck, and he's a character, and these are all the women around him, and they're women, and that's what they do.
Who wants to
I
do
thought it
the
was
thing?
interesting though, in the sense that like, and the reason the movie keeps getting shit. So like, a big thing that I keep reading, you said it too. You were like, the character doesn't evolve throughout the movie, and I was like, I don't think it's about the character evolving. Like, I think it's more so about how you can like someone that's not necessarily a good guy, because we spend so much time on this like polar, like somebody's either a good guy or a bad guy, and they have to be stuck into these two buckets. But this entire movie, and they stick to it throughout the whole 2 hours of it, that like people have different dimensions to them, and there's certain things that like trigger them to do good things, and certain things where they don't give a fuck and they'll just do the bad thing, and they visit that theme over and over again. Like it's something that they do with the girl Elle Fanning in it. She's supposed to be like a character that's supposed to be really, really good, but then when you dig into her and you see the various parts of her, she's not that good. And
but that's not a new. I mean, the television has been beating that to death the last 7 years. Breaking Bad is one of the things that started it, but now you've got Sons of Anarchy, Weeds,
The Sopranos started.
The Sopranos. You're right, but my point is that's not new, and I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that's not impressive that they did that. Television's been doing that for so long, and even the last few years in movies, they're like, here's a guy who's kind of good, but not really, and you're going to cheer for him beating up another person and doing these things that are slightly outside of the law.
Yeah, it didn't go where I thought it was going to go.
Liam Neeson. Taken. He doesn't go to the cops. He goes and murders a bunch of people.
Well, no, because it starts off as a revenge story, and then it kind of stops being a revenge story. It just stops.
You're talking about Lebanon, or
yeah. Which that's when it kind of became less interesting for me story-wise.
But it stops being a revenge story because things happen to him.
Yeah, but it just wasn't done well enough for me to like it like that. I guess, it's fine. Like I said, I enjoyed the movie. And there's just really old tropes that exist there, like the women are only there for the man's benefit. Like one of the characters starts off as a pretty important person, and then she just becomes his wife, and then that's it. That's her job. Mm-hmm. I kind of wish there was. It looked like she was going to keep being that important, so that would have been interesting.
But she stopped being important because of something that happened that made her unimportant. And I thought that they went out of their way to say that the prohibition ended. So she's unnecessary. What she does is unnecessary because Prohibition ended.
Yeah, but
and then also, he takes over the town, so she's also unnecessary because he basically took over
it's the whole the woman only exists.
She couldn't go find something else to be important, but she didn't go find another way to be important because she was a driven person who would just do things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then her life changed.
She became a
social
accessory.
What's the word? An accessory to the man, to Ben Affleck's character.
Everybody became an accessory to Ben Affleck.
But it's more specifically her, because she had a very...
I disagree with that, because...
It's not a disagreement, it's actually how it happened.
No, I think that, we're focusing on it because she's a woman, that she became...
But she had her own thing. And,
but there's other characters there that the same thing happened to them, and they're males. She's not the only character that became an accessory to
I know, but she didn't start off as a powerful person. Everyone else there is a subordinate. They started off at the same level. They started off as business people together.
Yeah, and so did her brother.
Yeah, and he's still on the same level. They're all exactly.
That guy was.
He wasn't subservient. He was only. Everyone became subservient to him only until the end of the movie when he literally took over everything. Yeah, that's what happened.
Took over the town gradually, but whatever. I disagree with it.
I don't. But there's no real reason to disagree other than
the reason I'm disagreeing is because I don't think that she's the only one. I think
she's not the only one.
Characters that became that, and we're focusing on it because she's a woman and that's why it came out to like the audience, like, oh, she like became known because of Ben Affleck. But I'm like, a lot of people became known because.
Well, it's not even like that. Like the women only exist to like they literally like it's that whole women in the refrigerators, and that also happens. I mean, spoilers.
A woman goes in a refrigerator.
Well, you ever heard of that trope? Like the women are killed off just to serve as a plot point for the man to do.
Oh,
something.
yes. Yeah, I've heard.
That was
I didn't know it was
it
women
also-
in
it also-
refrigerators
this
was
was
the name,
called-
but yes.
It devolved into that too,
Yeah.
because she only existed for that to happen to her, eventually.
Sure, she was his karma.
You know, yeah. So that's another. That's mostly like she starts off as this powerful person. Yes, a woman can become a wife and become like decide to not do things, but then the way it ended, her storyline ended, and it happened to his girlfriend in the beginning too. Like the only reason she was killed was because it was going to affect the guy, not because it had anything else to do. And it's just like an old. It's like that's what I'm saying. The story was very rote and derivative, and that's why it was whatever. That's why the only thing I liked was the performance and direction of the movie, as opposed to the story. That's what I'm saying.
I like the story.
Because it's a sexist, pick, obviously.
I'm
But, yeah, it comes with the territory.
I know I pointed that a while ago.
But yeah,
Also,
other than
Gio
Yeah.
believes that women belong in the kitchen and maybe sometimes
Also,
in the
yeah.
refrigerator.
It's a story about the 20s, so.
I know, but it's also a story. It's also a story. It's also a story. No, it's also a story about an unusual part because he was a white guy hanging around with colored people. So
Yeah.
already you broke that rule because he wasn't supposed to hang out with these people.
Like historically, that doesn't really make sense.
So yeah, it's not that. It's not only that you broke this one rule in your storytelling with the characters and how he relates to the time period.
Mm-hmm.
Why not also go that extra step? That's what I'm saying. That's what most people are saying too.
Okay.
You know, it's not.
You're saying they picked and chose with what parts of the 20s they were going
Right.
to fit with and
Yeah.
did some things that wouldn't.
right? Yeah, exactly. I mean, but like,
And then my other thing too with that complaint would be like it's an adaptation of the book. So does the book do something different?
the book did do way different
Okay.
things actually.
So that's what
The
I
book kind of had a little more interesting stuff for the characters to do.
Yeah.
Like the Elle Fanning's character had actually way more going on with her than what they showed in the movie, which would have been more interesting. But a movie is short, a book has infinite budget. And
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But the movie's not bad. But don't get me wrong on that.
No, it's not a 2 out of 5. Correct?
No, it's not a 2 out of 5.
Yeah. I mean,
For me.
what we're arguing about right now, I think it's like comparing it between like I thought it was like a 5 out of 5, and you would probably say like a 3.5 to a 4 somewhere. I don't know what you would say, but
I'm not even rating it. I'm just saying like story notes. Like, that's the problem. No, I'm not rating it. I choose not to rate.
But we've rated everything.
I changed them. I'm breaking the rules. I'm teaching Ben Affleck a thing or two.
That's not what we do in 2016. You can't pick and choose your
Well,
time
it's not
period
2016
rules.
anymore. It's 2017.
So we're not rating anything in 2017.
but I thought
No,
it was
we're not.
gorgeous. I thought I don't know.
No, it's a beautiful movie.
Fucking gorgeous.
The set design was amazing.
For a 2-hour movie, it was kept you interested into.
I thought all the side characters were great.
Yeah.
The Italian guy was awesome. His buddy.
Yeah. And he's the guy from. I kept looking at him because he gains like 40 pounds, so he looks completely different.
In the movie?
It's like, yeah, no, to play the part.
Oh.
He's the guy that Mindy in the Mindy Project, the guy that
I
she's
haven't seen
obsessed
Mindy
with. Or did you see?
Let's look it up. Oh yeah, it's hot. It's cold outside, so here. That's gonna be audible.
Something Messina is his name, but
Live by Night.
Kevin Messina.
Chris Messina, I think.
I just threw out a name.
But no, I like the side characters. Thought it was a very engaging movie. It was, the dialogue was surprisingly like funny, like and the good kind of
Chris
funny.
Messina.
Like, yeah, Chris Messina. But the good kind of funny that like sticks with you. Like there's so many
It's-
great lines in the movie that I just really enjoyed. I thought it was like I don't know. It felt like sort of like a
Okay, I know
Scarface
this.
to
I know
me,
this guy.
You know, but like
I recognize
like,
him without the facial hair.
yeah.
Okay.
And but I like this a little bit more because, like, at the end of Scarface, Al Pacino kind of goes off the rails, but I like how Ben Affleck's character kind of, you know, he was himself throughout the whole movie. Like his evolution wasn't like this age old like, yo, you can't do wrong stuff without like becoming crazy for some reason.
Or consequences.
Yeah, he had sort
Yeah.
of a consequence. But yeah.
Oh yeah, his dad was Mad Eye Moody.
Yeah.
The actor, obviously.
The actor's dad played Mad Eye Moody?
Yeah. Ben Affleck's dad was the actor who played Happy.
Oh, okay, got it.
And he was awesome. He always is. I think I've seen him in a bad thing. He was in the movie for like 10 minutes, and
That's great.
I think he owned the scene every time he was in it.
Nice.
I mean, everyone was really good.
Everyone was really good. Yeah.
I don't think anybody,
No.
was bad. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's Ben Affleck's best movie, but I think, it was a showing of, this dude, just directs really good movies. And this is, another one that he did. And if this is the worst that he's going to give us, according to critics, then, alright, fair enough.
Yeah.
Keep fucking cooking. Keep doing it.
I mean,
let's see that Batman.
If he's done better, then I would like him to do better, on Batman or something.
Yeah. But you said you hadn't seen The Town.
I haven't seen any of the other movies.
You gotta watch The Town.
But I was gonna say, if this is his worst movie,
The Town's one of my favorites.
If the other movies are much better than this, then I'm.
The Town.
I can't
Town's a fucking gripping movie. It's really The Town. Is you know how we were having our discussion about the reason that none of these superhero movies are really good movies is because you take the superpowers out and they're just done the movie. The Town is what I think would have happened to The Dark Knight if you took the superpowers out.
So it still would have been a good movie.
No.
He's saying it is that movie if he wasn't running around in a bat suit.
Yeah, yeah, and there's parts of it that are a little bit better. It doesn't have the Joker in it. It doesn't have the idea of that in it. But the story is very similar, and you'll see why I say that within 15 minutes of the movie.
Okay.
But yeah, it's really good flick. But cool.
That's Live by Night.
Yeah. Doesn't matter because Transformers 5 is going to be the best movie of 2015, 17. I don't know what year we're in.
Watch it. Yeah, you were at the virtual reality too long.
Yeah, exactly.
It's only been 10 minutes.
That's 2017.
What
we all got some quick hype right now with that Justice.
I don't know about all of us. I thought it was an interesting image, but it didn't hype me up. I was just those are costumes.
She saw it on my Facebook.
Yeah.
I did like it.
Yeah.
I like Cyborg is great, yeah.
I like it. There's nothing that is going to get me hyped for this movie. I'm going into it with base expectations because I don't want Batman v Superman to happen to me again.
Didn't you want Batman v Superman not to do well?
No, I didn't care. I wanted it to do better because I wanted Marvel to get a kick in the ass to okay, you guys are doing okay, but you could step it up. Yeah. I wanted Batman.
Why are you talking shit about Batman?
I talk shit about it because it affected you.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. I didn't actually want. I don't want things to fail to affect you.
You're the one that has said multiple times that you only say truths, to take what you say seriously.
See what?
Truths. I can't. It's hard for me.
No, I say that I'm sarcastic. I say that I'm sarcastic 80% of the time. I went into Batman vs Superman hoping it would be good because Marvel needed competition. I walked out of it the way I walk out of a lot of movies, being that was really fun, and then Suicide Squad, I walked out, I was that was all right, and then I thought about it more and more, and I was that wasn't all right. And I kind of had the same feeling about Batman vs Superman. I was entertained in the moment. I don't really want to see it again. Because when I walk out of a movie, I'm because in a movie it's big and colorful and bright, and you're just in the moment. And you're this is cool.
It, or that doesn't happen to you. It doesn't happen to me.
Okay, so
because so I think out of all of us still in this room, I watch the most movies. You're maybe getting there. But
I've always said I don't watch enough movies. Okay. I mean, I get them.
I watch at least 2 a week. I would say.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. So my reaction to a bad I'm very much so about my in the moment reaction to movies because I don't think about them after I see them. Very few movies do I think about after I see them because I'm moving on to the next flick. So I don't spend time sitting there going, my life was affected in any sort of way by watching this thing, unless in the moment I was watching it and it was really bad.
It's not.
And then I turn it off.
But I think you need to. I think you need to go into the movie that way for you to see. Not I'm saying you need to not you, but you have to go into the movie with that mindset to see those things.
My goal,
which you don't have, if you don't want to. That's
my goal.
I know you don't want to.
Movie is entertainment.
Yeah,
if
that's
a movie doesn't entertain me, then it's not doing well.
Right, and Batman vs Superman entertained me at the time. Yeah. But then if I was to make a top 10 list, I'm not even considering it. It doesn't belong in that consideration for me. Because there are a lot of things I think about after once I'm not being blown away by that, there's action going on and I'm just currently in the moment. And when I step back, I'm able to think critically at that time. It's rare for me to be in a movie at the time and be like, that doesn't make sense, that doesn't make sense.
Honestly,
like,
that's rarely happened to me. The only time it happened to me was Suicide Squad.
The only time that happened to me was The Last Airbender.
Oh, I haven't seen that, so...
Yeah.
So
Suicide Squad, there was one or two.
I was like, this is not good. Like, I think didn't take very long for me to realize. It like, once I realized that they were doing the same thing over and over again for half an hour, 45 minutes, the introductions, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, yeah, I think...
Oh, no, I take it back. It happened when they introduced, was it Slipknot? When they introduced Slipknot, I was like, oh, this is the weakest possible way to introduce the character you're going to kill off, and a minute later he was dead. I was like, okay, I get it.
Yeah. I think that was pretty... yeah, it was in that video I sent you guys.
Yeah.
He was like, you know how this guy doesn't matter?
Because they said his name, he didn't get an intro.
He didn't get an intro at all like the other characters.
You're right. But but I typically don't notice those things in the moment because I'm just trying to pay attention to the story. And I did that with Batman vs. Superman and other movies. I'm only bringing it up because you brought up Batman vs. Superman. And then afterwards I was like, there are things in that didn't make sense to me. Like, I think that could have been done better. And I do that with other movies too. Mm-hmm. And there are some movies that don't, and those are the movies I'd be like, those belong on my top list.
Yeah,
but I don't think there's anything wrong with going to a movie like that. I was entertained at the time, but it doesn't have any lasting value to me as a movie. I forget it.
Aggression that I see against movies that are just like pure entertainment. I'm like, I don't get that because I feel like there's a class of movie that's really just there to entertain you. Like, it's not there for you to sit back and have philosophical conversations.
But you can. People can choose to see them that way. That's fine. It's not. And I don't think just like what you said is right. What you said is right. You're right that some movies can just be. It's not should. I think they can just be seen as entertainment. But people,
like a Transformers movie.
Like a Transformers movie. But there's people who do this for a living. Like, they like to give their opinions on what is an art form. It is. I mean, even if...
And there's a lot of people competing for those jobs and they can't get it because Michael Bay keeps getting to make movies. And they're like, but I could have made Transformers as entertaining but with a cohesive story.
Okay, see, this is the thing. The only way something won't ever get criticized if it doesn't exist. That's the only way it'll ever happen. Yeah. So, I agree with what you said, but
then it totally comes off like what you just said as like people just being bitter.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not talking about people being bitter. I'm talking about like even other directors who are, and I'm using Transformers because I think we can all agree there's like a lot that could be done to make those better movies. They're just they're entertaining popcorn flicks, but it's like they could be entertaining popcorn flicks and have a somewhat cohesive story and like and dialogue that isn't shit. Like, it wouldn't be hard to do. And there's a lot of people who are like, I would love to have that job, and I'm in this industry. And John, for example, could be like, I could have edited Suicide Squad better. I'm not getting the opportunity to do that job. But like the guy who is, I don't think did a very good job of it.
Yeah, but that's
and John Wick is a good argument against the opposite.
It's
not about earning. It's not just about earning yourself, though.
You have to earn yourself that position. Like,
that's not how jobs work in anything, though.
Yeah,
it's not just about earning.
It's not just
especially in movies. It's very much about
movies. Is all politics.
Yeah, it's all politics.
It's not about earning.
So then you have to put yourself in the political position.
That's fine, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about like
you're just shifting the argument.
But I know what you're saying.
Because I'm saying that it comes off as bitter.
It is, but it's because
like that level of aggression towards movies is just like unnecessary.
Art making and anything like that will evoke emotions because it's an emotional art form.
Right.
And you're allowed to be bitter about it because it's one person got to take, I'm going to keep using it, the Transformers franchise and make movies. We're not going to have other Transformers movies for a little while. They're not just going to reboot that because there's thousands of other ideas they could take. We finally got Transformers movies. They gave it to Michael Bay. They could have done a lot more with it, and that shot is gone, and this is what we got out of it. You're allowed to be bitter about that.
Yeah, it's. I mean, yeah.
So did you watch the cartoon?
Yes, but there's mediocre, and I think those movies are bad. I agree with you. And they could have made halfway decent films, and we're not going to get those now because it happened.
I'm not a fan of the Transformers.
And you can totally do that with Batman vs Superman because the same thing. We finally got a Batman vs Superman movie. In general, we're getting decent Batman movies now, and it's like we finally get to put Batman and Superman in a movie for the first time ever, and this is what it is, and it's not what I thought it was going to be. And I think and I'm just bringing a general argument, not mine specifically. I think very easily they could have made some changes in this film that would have made it a much better movie, and they didn't do it. And it went through all these people, including Snyder, but all the studio and everybody who was involved in it. Nobody raised questions on like, why did you do X, Y, and Z?
Confucius say too many cooks in the kitchen.
Right.
Exactly. Right. That's the problem with all of these studio films. Yeah. That's why you will be generally disappointed with these movies.
I don't think so. I don't think Confucius said that.
It's something that like people need to understand. I don't get why people don't understand it. It's like
you can get something and be upset about it though.
No. The studio's making these movies for a lot of people.
Yeah.
They're making it to be a too many cooks in the kitchen situation. the stuff that's happening with the Marvel world is blind luck. They got into the situation where they made something that they know people enjoy, and they're literally making it over and over and over again because they know that's what it is that the people enjoy.
Yeah, but
that's why we get that. That's why that's happening. They've gotten the recipe. Now, the other studios don't really have the option to do that. They do, but if they do that, then they're going to get heat for remaking someone else's stuff. Like, Marvel is able to do that because they own it. They own the idea of making a quippy movie with a bunch of characters, blah, blah, blah. They own that.
But they are getting
really
backlash for that now. Like, that can only last for so long. Like,
right.
Yeah, they've been getting backlash for like the last 5 films.
Yeah.
At least.
And
they get backlash from
the thing is
a
like,
loud minority.
I understand.
For the most part, like, people like it.
I understand. Yeah, people can like it. Like, I do like Civil War.
Yeah.
But like I said, the third time I watched it, I was like, this is exhausting now because I'm literally watching the same movie. But just like a McDonald's burger is a factory machine made burger, it tastes good at the moment, and I know I'm going to get, but eventually you're going to get sick of it, and this is going to happen. But there's nothing wrong with like the fact that they are successful and that they're the same movie. Just like, wait, I lost myself. That's what I was saying. Yeah, like it's fine. Like you can get mad at Michael Bay for making literally the same movie over and over. Like, yeah, there's an audience for it. But,
well, I'm not even like.
But like,
what I'm trying to say is like, for the plot, I'm mad, but I go watch the movies. I'm not mad at it. I'll go watch them because I'm hoping A, that they make a new one, and then B, it's like
you're entertained
I go
in the
into
moment.
them like I know what I'm going to expect, and I know that I get tired. Like that's why I sat there and watched Doctor Strange, and I knew how much of that movie I didn't like and how much I did.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I was like, oh, I really liked the last 10 minutes where they kind of changed the game, and I was with that. The first part of the movie was like I saw that before, and I know I don't like it, but whatever. I'm not at a point where like I'm aggressively angry at it that I'm not going to give them my money. And that's really all you got to do. Like you don't have to be like aggressive at it. Just
I mean,
don't
they're
watch
critics.
it
They're critics. That's the thing.
But
That's
they're
what they do.
not all the.
Unless you're talking about like internet
about-
you're talking about internet fanboys, like the people who comment on
Yeah.
YouTube videos. Who cares what they have to say about anything?
Yeah,
But if
because
you go
they're
out-
not going to get attention saying, "Hey, I went and saw Batman vs Superman and it was okay." And that's all I have to say.
These movies get molded by their bullshit.
Not always. Critics don't have that much of a say as you think they do. They're just critics.
The reason that
people shit talking.
Oh yeah, but that's just people. Like,
yeah, and then you have to deal with it and watch.
but that's just how it is. But this is a market. This is a market.
Like
if people
Yeah, you hold on. You were just raising the argument though that they're trying to make movies that sell to a lot of people. If enough people say, "Hey, Batman vs Superman was too dark, and I don't want that anymore," you can't get mad at the studio for saying, "Hey, don't make Justice League so dark," because everybody, a significant number of people said that is not what they want, and we're making this for a lot of people.
Problem, right? Because now we sit with Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman, we sit at a kind of weird space where like. You're saying enough people said that, but the numbers don't say that enough people said that.
Doesn't mean just
because
something
like, financially that movie did
Right, financially it made money
So,
because people
okay,
went to see it,
okay,
but
it did not do the numbers
they
they
have to
want.
make more of them, and they're like
Suicide Squad
people.
did well for its
it made like 900, but
That's well for its budget
yeah,
for the
but
expectation.
we know how these studios are. They want all the money or none of it.
I mean,
And the point to be made is a lot of it, most of it makes money in the first 2 weeks because people are just going to see it, and people went to see it because they were excited. It doesn't necessarily mean that people went and saw it and liked it.
And it's not necessarily that people go see it because it's good. Some people have that macabre interest in seeing how bad something is.
Yeah. So if most of the feedback you're getting is people are like, I paid the money, but I wasn't happy with it, the studio goes, okay, we're not going to get as many people to see the second one because most of the feedback hasn't been positive. So we need to change something.
So Suicide Squad did well or did good, whatever, but it wasn't very good, well reviewed. Look at it from a movie that did very well and was positively reviewed. How much did Civil War do? How much did Force Awakens do? They did way more than those movies did. Didn't Force Awakens hit $2 billion?
yeah.
Well, also, part of that is like it's the first Star Wars.
It's like 1.185.
It still did a lot of money, and that's what they want. Like,
Right.
there can be a positive correlation between positively reviewed from critics and from
Yeah,
audience.
and Civil War got critically reviewed well, so people are like, I'm excited for the next crossover, and they're like, hey, you're excited for a crossover.
It's just that
Thor
a little
3 is
bit
going to
more.
have Hulk
It's
and
like-
Doctor Strange.
Like, Trump is president because 70,000 people more voted for him in the right places.
Oh, I was raising it. I was just saying, like,
No, but I'm saying it's that little bit.
Millions, but yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's seven. No, it's like the numbers like 70,000 spread like in Michigan or something. Like it's a very small amount that he won, and it's about hitting that right amount of people.
I mean, that's fair.
know.
To kind of put it back to the beginning, again, I don't understand the aggression.
And people are aggressive.
You know, fucking, vote with your dollar.
Some
If you
people
don't
take
like it,
yeah, no.
just don't go see it.
Well-
you want to see the same shit over and over again. Just keep paying for the same shit. Over
That's what they're. That's what they're.
But then-
that's what they're going
See, but
to do.
I
Is
can-
it won't, the sequel won't make
Yeah,
money.
I
You
can
can't.
edit
You can't.
what you
You can't take your money back from going to see the movie. Well, you can if you're an asshole. But most people don't put that effort in. They say, okay, I just won't see Suicide Squad 2.
yeah.
I paid my money. I didn't like it.
But
I
then-
put my voice out, and we've all put our voices out. Most people said
And
I
you
don't
also
like
got to
it.
see like the investment, the opportunity cost in seeing a movie is not as big as like
Yeah.
it's like a video game because that's what we're talking about. Like, what's $10 for a couple hours? You know, to see if this movie is as bad as the last one.
Right.
You know, I guess you could say at that point wait for the critics, but you don't like critics anyway. So like,
No, I don't read this shit.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's just
I don't read this shit because, like, I don't know. I just feel like a lot of it is not at the level of
7:45.
like what we're watching at.
Sorry, Suicide Squad made 745. Civil War made 1.15. So about a $400 million difference.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Difference in like the budget.
It doesn't matter. No,
Like Suicide Squad's not like a tempo the way the Civil War is. You
But they
gotta
were trying to get it.
You got to compare Civil War with
175 million more. 175 million more in Civil War, and Doctor Strange wouldn't be a fair comparison either because you're looking at
Yeah.
because you're looking at collaborate like group comes together in movies versus
versus
a movie about a single dude.
Level of like fandom for the group. Like I think it's about the same. Like Suicide Squad and Doctor Strange. They're both like not.
There's more to it than that. I was only raising it in the point of we were talking about things that got positive press versus things that didn't.
Yeah, Doctor Strange did get positive press.
Not I don't think to the degree that Civil War did.
It didn't get the bad articles that Suicide Squad did. It didn't get a 30-minute review of how bad it is.
658.
Yeah, because it was
so
not
so
that
okay.
bad.
So fine. So here's a comparison. Doctor Strange cost $10 million less. It made $658 million as compared to $750 million. Press has been pretty positive, and they've already put a date on Doctor Strange 2.
Yeah.
They are holding off on a date on Suicide Squad 2 because the press was really bad, and they're concerned that hey, people may not want to go see the sequel because they weren't happy with the first one.
Right.
Which I think is a valid point for a studio to make, and it's worth listening to that feedback. And I think we all kind of agree on that. Maybe not on how much they should value it, but as a studio, you need to care about. None of us are arguing whether or not it's a good movie.
But he's arguing more like aggressive anti-fandom, I guess.
No, I mean you ignore it if it's just the super fanboys saying like this isn't the Batman vs Superman movie I would want to make. But when everybody who I saw, including not big fans, were like, I don't know about this movie, they're like, okay, well we all want you to come see the sequel, so we should probably change some things. It's always you're always adjusting a little bit here and there.
Sure. That's fair.
Yeah. So after 20 minutes of arguing, we all agree.
Yeah.
It turns out we probably all agreed in the beginning.
I think what you gotta do as a person going out and watching movies is like, you can probably find someone that has a very similar taste to you and is out there and trying to like review shit and trying to like have honest opinions about stuff and aren't trying to get clicks, and use them to indicate like whether or not when you're deciding to watch a movie or not, whether you're gonna like it or not.
But I think
That's something that I did. I found JoeBlow.com. That's my dude. Those people there, they kind of like are pretty much at my level with what I like though. There's a few times that we disagree, but that's fine because I love their sevens. Their sevens are like my favorite because those are the movies where like I don't know if I'm going to give it a 7 because it's kind of like a 7's more like a 5 nowadays.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, review scores are so arbitrary. They literally mean nothing. Like, what you
Yeah,
get to
4
read
means
is-
piece of garbage now.
Yeah, it's been like that with video games forever. Like, if a game
Yeah.
has a 7, it's like, why did you even buy it? Like, go throw it out.
Yeah. Well, and it's because of there's no scarcity anymore.
Yeah, I just
like
think that-
there's more out there than you could ever consume in 8 lifetimes. So if you're gonna pick the 10s and the 9s.
She has to walk her dog. You can say it. I've said it before.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Well, then I won't. I was
I
gonna.
have 5 minutes.
Okay. You want to?
No, I was just gonna say, like, I only disagree with the notion of listening to people you agree with because that's how echo chambers get started.
Yeah, I like seeing movies that I normally wouldn't, like 10 Cloverfield Lane, which I was originally skeptical of.
No, I mean,
Fuck
like
what's
listening to
happening.
opinions that don't
Someone
agree.
Right, exactly. I want to occasionally go see things that I don't think I would
Someone
like.
randomly writing on an article saying a lot of people don't like this movie. There's no numbers to that. Like, there's no, like, you can't really say.
Sure, there are.
What
You
that
can point to
means.
Rotten Tomatoes. You can point to Metacritic. I'm not necessarily
No.
arguing that those are good points, but I'm
Rotten
saying.
Tomatoes is not a number of that. We've proven that time and time again because the idea of them saying that a lot of people don't like it is a very, like,
But it's a way that you can say that, and can I finish my point? If Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic and 40 other websites all are showing negative reviews, then you could say a lot of people are not liking this movie. There's some number to that. Yes, you can't say 800,256 people didn't like it. You can't do that. But you can say, hey, all of the review sites are showing that generally feedback to this has been negative. If Rotten Tomatoes is negative, Metacritic is positive, and there's a mix, then yeah, you can't say that. It's unfair. But all of the review websites, I'm just using Suicide Squad as an example because it pretty much rated negatively on all of them, came out negative. So you can say a lot of people have not been happy with this movie. That's a fair statement. You'll never have a number.
Sure.
But you can say it.
Right.
Yeah. No, there's no Nielsen. And Nielsen rating is bullshit anyways, but there's no Nielsen equivalent for movies.
There's no such thing as like a limited amount of reviews that you're going to rate. Like you can't say out of 100 reviews, whatever, and then that way that you. But
what you can say is
Rotten Tomatoes doesn't do that.
I literally said them as an example to finish my broader point.
They don't use the same.
It's not even relevant to the argument though, because the point is there's a ton of review sites out there where people go to say things they like and dislike. It's not just like Yelp where people just go to bitch about things. Like people go onto these websites and also say I love this movie. So you can generally trust that if you've got all these review websites and everybody they're all saying people like these, you can say people are pretty positive with this because people who like to say whether they love or hate a movie use this, and that's happened with Suicide Squad. Most people, a majority on each of those websites said we didn't like this. So you can say largely people aren't enjoying this film. You can do that. But yes, there's no hard number to point to. But you've got that aggregated information.
But there is a sample.
Yeah, and there are some numbers behind it. We just can't see them.
Because I do.
Rotten Tomatoes is not somewhere or something.
Fine, use Metacritic and the others.
None of them are. There's none right now that uses the same 100 people and says
you're right.
This is how we're getting our score, which would be the equivalent of what I'm saying that you should do.
The Rotten Tomatoes does have a tab where you can go to like the critics, like the famous critics.
Right, I've looked at that before.
So there is a closed sample of people you can listen to. Because I usually whenever I do go to Rotten Tomatoes, this is just an anecdote now, I know nothing about it. I don't look at the overall one, I look at the top, what they call the top critics, which are the people you know, your Eberts, your A.O. Scotts, those people. Mm-hmm. Those who I look at. So you look at a certain sample. Yeah, if you go too big, you'll get. I could start a movie review website tomorrow and somehow like get it put on Rotten Tomatoes if I want, if it was possible. But I'm not that big a voice. But you can.
But if you become that voice, they'll include you. Yeah, exactly.
That's my goal, being top critic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like how the top rated movies on Rotten Tomatoes are movies you've never heard of because they're indie and only people who were involved in the production went and saw it and gave it a positive rating.
And I think to close this off, we should do our top 3 and start with Evelyn. It's just that timeline of movies that we anticipate for next year.
Mine hasn't changed. Justice League, Wonder Woman, and I don't really have a third.
Yeah, I don't really know.
Oh, you guys know.
Oh. Huh? No, I don't. What? No, I didn't.
Your most anticipated? Dunkirk, number 1. Spider-Man, and Justice League. Those are my 3.
Kimi no Ni wa when it comes out in English.
I found that.
I need the official. I don't want people attempting to translate. No, I do enjoy some fan subs, but the problem is there's some bad fan subgroups and there's some good fan subgroups. I want the official translation because they've gotten really good. That. I'm going all Japanese. The Full Metal Alchemist live action movie and the third Monogatari movie, which comes out actually came out in Japanese and will be translated shortly.
Monogatari.
It's a light novel series that's had 7 anime series now. It's like there's like 15 books in the series and they keep translating them. So they've done 3 movies out of the prequel. If we're talking American movies, I don't know. There's a lot of superhero movies coming out. I'm like mildly excited for a bunch of them. But I'm not getting really excited for anything. And Ghost in the Shell, I'm not excited for.
It's not positive. The only positive one is Dunkirk because I will slap Christian Nolan out to the end of the day. I'm really curious about Spider-Man, and I'm very curious about just how Justice League is going to do.
And I would just say I'm curious about the Spider-Man movies coming out. So anticipation isn't
necessary. Well, it is positive. Is it a positive thing? Being anticipating?
You know what? Let's go with mildly excited. I'm mildly excited for Thor 3, just because it's the first time they're actually being like, hey, let's take a few people and put them in the same film. And also it's 3 who've never...
Did you read the synopsis?
I didn't.
I know a little bit. Like, Odin's in New York.
I can just say it right now.
Yeah.
So the official synopsis of the movie, somehow Thor has been exiled from
Asgard again?
Asgard by his brother.
I feel like that happened at some point. I just didn't.
It was about to happen. Loki is
it was implied,
masquerading as Odin.
The way that they wrote in the synopsis is like it happened, and I was just sitting there going like, I guess it happened. I just didn't pay attention.
It's going to be Odin exiling him, probably.
So,
Loki exiling him. Yep.
While he's exiled, he ends up on Planet Hulk and ends up glad. Like I'm pretty sure. So there's a scene in Planet Hulk where one of the Thors, the frog one, ends up fighting with Hulk. So I think the scene is going to be the regular Thor fighting with Hulk. They buddy up, go back to Asgard to stop Armageddon or whatever.
Oh, I heard it the other way. I heard it was he gets exiled to Earth. He with Jane, and then he goes and finds Doctor Strange, and that's how they get
the official synopsis.
The official synopsis. He gets exiled out of Asgard, ends up on Planet Hulk because he's out in space somehow.
Yeah.
And
the ship is
then
at the end.
They get themselves back to Asgard to stop Ragnarok.
So how does Doctor Strange get into that?
I don't know, but it's not written into the film.
He didn't teleport again.
So
Superman.
Well, that's what I was going through. Hold on, I was going through things. I was actually putting a real list. So that because bringing those three characters together could be interesting. A little curious about Justice League just because I want to see if they can turn that around. And no, I take that back. I'm more interested in Wonder Woman because I want to see somebody else attempt to do a DC movie. Because it's another using your example of they can't use the Marvel formula. So okay, you're trying again. You got somebody else's attempt, and I'm more interested in that trailer than I have been in others.
Bye, Avalon.
And bye. Shit, I had a third one. I don't remember. Oh, Lego Batman. I'm kind of curious about Lego Batman. I feel like that's going to be a fun little movie.
I think that ends the call.
This ends the call.
Mm-hmm.
I think since we kind of did like anticipated versus like I don't know how that movie's going to be versus anticipated. Like I really want to see that movie.
I just don't have any of those.
So I'll do. I don't know how that movie's going to be.
Okay.
Wonder Woman. Blade Runner 2049.
That's this year?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever they're going to call that. And the Power Rangers movie. Those are three movies that I don't know how they're going to come out. They have a lot of, like, not a lot of power, but, like, I feel like there's a lot of skepticism on my end for all three of them.
I think most people have skepticism.
And I'm just like...
Definitely about Blade Runner and Power Rangers.
Like
Wonder Woman, I think people are getting excited for, but there's...
People have... Yeah.
It's the first, like, we're actually just going to star a female... Like, it's a female superhero
like
movie.
Said, it's not Zack Snyder taking... Well,
but that too, but I think even more than that, people are like, oh, this... Whether or not they're being open about it, but it's not starring a guy superhero. Which is the first time we've had that.
About Suicide Squad being a bad movie because it doesn't have a direct correlation to the cinematic universe that they're creating. Like, it's there, but it doesn't really, like, need to be there. But Wonder Woman is part of the Justice League. So this is the first solo film since Man of Steel where it has a direct impact into Justice League. And it builds upon what happens to Wonder Woman as a character, both in Batman v Superman, which we didn't see a lot of, but supposedly a lot of it's going to happen in Justice League, where she starts to trust man again, or whatever that's supposed to mean.
She's a man-hating feminist, obviously.
Yeah, so, like, that has a big, like...
Yeah, what's her character name? Jezebel?
See you on a roll. Power Rangers...
So Gio, the woman hater, is going to go see the man-hater.
You know, I think a lot of people have some weird expectations for Power Rangers. I don't expect it to be a good movie.
I think all the people with expectations, or we were talking about this once, the people who haven't gone back and looked at Power Rangers since they were 9.
Yeah.
And just to all of you, watch any episode, it doesn't matter which, because it's not good. It's garbage.
Nothing good about it.
We watched garbage as kids, and we nostalgically think it was good.
My only reason for that is, like, why does this have to be made? Like,
I think it's being made because...
And it's a philosophical why.
It's to target 20-year-olds.
Yeah, it's a philosophical why. It's not a... Obviously, they want to make money.
Again, that Ismahawk video was really good. I like what they did with that. To be...
He's talking about a video on YouTube, the video on YouTube with the Power Rangers.
A lot more people know about that video.
No, they know it. They don't know that name.
Yeah.
We've all seen it. I don't know who Ismahawk is. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right,
it was not. It just wasn't clear.
Done by Ismahawk.
The one that you liked because it didn't have a whole studio trying to make it a mass appeal YouTube video is why the movie probably will not be good.
So that one did. I don't think it was good either, but I was just like, oh, this is an interesting take on Power Rangers.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So I hope they go for an interesting take of Power Rangers, and if they do that, which I so far see, like it is an interesting take of Power Rangers. If they do that and they stick to that, then I'm with it. If it becomes like fucking episode 1, which I think it's gonna become, like here's a bunch of callbacks to random shit that
if it's that,
to remember. holy fuck, am I gonna hate that movie?
Well, Bulk and Scully have a cameo where they're not their main
Yeah.
characters. Like, I think it might just be two dudes, and you're supposed to look at it and be like, "There's Bulk and Scully."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if that happens, then
There's probably, and I guarantee there will be random cameos of like, oh, there's a villain from like the 4th version of Power Rangers.
the
Maybe you
one
remember.
cameo that I will fucking be all about is
Lord Zed?
David.
Oh.
David.
Tommy?
Yeah, Tommy. Tommy's in it. That Tommy deserves to be there because he's kept himself relevant in the world and whatever.
Yeah, he was in the show like a few years ago.
He was, and he like is a wrestler and he does all this shit.
Yeah.
So I think he deserved like he's
I am concerned that all 6 of them are going to show up in one way or another. I think it's
I
going to
don't
happen.
think
sure
the
he
guy-
died, so she can't show up.
Yeah, she can't show
Okay, so
up.
five of them. They're
I
just
know
going to be
that-
like these old people, like when the Power Rangers
No,
are
I
walking,
know the guy
like
who
going
played
off
the-
at the end of the
No,
movie to
stop
save the
looking at
world.
me.
It's just going to be like you're just going to see them all sitting at a coffee table, like who are those kids running off or something like that. It's
I
going to
don't
be a
think the
bad
guy who
cameo.
played Billy will be there because I know he said that he got like some really bad because he's gay, and I think they bullied him about being gay. On the show. I forget about. So he probably won't show up.
Okay.
That's how he knows where it is. That was weird, man.
Okay. And then Blade Runner skeptic because I thought that ended fucking beautifully. And
I need to
there's
rewatch that, apparently.
There's nothing that. Well, it ends like very ambiguously.
Oh, I just didn't like the movie. I need to rewatch
like
it.
it?
No,
That's fair.
I couldn't follow it. It was really dark, and I was.
Which versions did you watch?
I don't know.
You have to watch
That's
the rest.
important, actually.
Yeah, I don't
There's
know.
like 4 different versions
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So
Even
I don't know if
looking
it's
for
still
it.
on HBO, but the version on HBO was the good one.
It's the final cut. That's the one.
Yeah.
It came out like a few years ago.
But that ended very well, and there didn't need to be anything else with that movie. Like that was just a good.
I think that's a good description of Hollywood in the last 5 years. It is
That didn't
there,
exist.
we didn't need the sequel.
Yeah, like the Accountant was supposed to be 3 movies.
Which one?
And
The Accountant?
Yeah,
Yeah,
It was
everything's
supposed to
being
be-
made with the
it's
idea of a
not-
trilogy.
It's not happening. But it was supposed to be 3 movies, so that's a great example of like if they made another one of those, I would lose respect for the first one, and I don't want that to happen to Blade Runner. Like I don't want to lose respect for the first.
I can see that. I mean,
So that's
Jurassic
why-
Park is still an amazing movie, regardless of
Jurassic
Jurassic.
Park 2 comes out this year.
How about
No, I'm talking not Jurassic
World
World. Jurassic comes out this
World
year?
2?
Yeah.
Shit.
There's a lot of fucking movies.
I don't think that's going to be good.
Unless they can pay just
I
put.
thought because I didn't think Jurassic World.
World was. I watched it. I was entertained, and at the end, I was like, that really didn't need to happen. Like, I get it. Our
only did it-
CGI is better, and we can make a better Jurassic Park movie. Please don't do anything else with this. Yeah, because what is it? Jurassic Extinction or something?
Jurassic
like
World, all it did was erase 2 and 3. That's all they
that?
did.
Yeah, basically.
And then the movies that
That's fine. I mean, it was also one of those, like, the beginning was okay, and then the ending was just really strong, I think. Hey.
And the movies that I'm actually anticipating, Justice League #1, John Wick,
John Wick, yeah.
and Thor Ragnarok. I think that Thor Ragnarok.
The synopsis got you?
I think Thor Ragnarok might be like the first.
The most comic booky of comic book movies.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna be the first Marvel movie since Avengers 1, or since Guardians of the Galaxy that I'm like really into. I'm very skeptic of Guardians of the Galaxy 2,
'Cause-
but not enough to put it on the list, just because like I'm skeptic of it being able to catch on for the second time.
Yes.
That was a very like the first time you saw it, you were surprised and you were like, "Whoa, that's good." I don't know how that's gonna feel the second time, and if it is anything like rewatching Guardians of the Galaxy, then it's not a good thing.
You don't like rewatching Guardians of the Galaxy?
No.
I can't say I've rewatched it, actually.
The second time I rewatched it, the third time, like the beats are so fucking obvious that you're just like, okay, and you get really bored watching. Like I just like
I'm skeptical about Guardians of the Galaxy 2 because I thought Gamora was the weakest part of that movie to begin with, the first one, and now they're trying to sell the romance, which I was really happy. Like there was 1 or 2 scenes in the beginning, the romance between her and
You know what?
And
so if she
Star-Lord?
would have acted the way she did in Live by Night in this, I would have believed that romance way more. Because that's the one really good thing about what he did in this. I know he made you fall in love with her too. It was really. I never really noticed that in
Live by Night?
in a movie before.
Cool.
Where they make her as desirable to the audience as he does to the character, and that was
yeah,
really
and she's not in Guardians of the Galaxy, and I like the fact that it was mostly just about a group of people becoming friends, and I just want that.
Yeah.
I don't need the romance
But
angle.
like they fucking made her in the movie like, and it was great that they made her this super independent spirit. So that scene at the end, you're just like, what? that doesn't make sense. Like, she wouldn't want to kiss him. She wouldn't want anything to fucking do with him. She doesn't want anything to do with anybody. She's just there to, like, get the fuck with Thanos. That's it. That's literally all she's there for. So I don't understand why she would do anything else. That was one of the weakest parts of that movie. And you notice it more and more every time you rewatch it. And it looks like from the trailer that they're going to keep doing it because Chris Pratt is a leading man, pretty leading man. He needs, somebody to hook up. He
needs a case of the nut case.
And the one he's going to be hooking up with is not an equally strong character.
An example of a person that would not be interested in anyone for more than 15 minutes. Like, they established that as a character. Like, he's not interested in any woman for more than 15 minutes.
Yeah.
He just wants to fuck them. That's it. And that's fair. It's very, like, whatever. Like, maybe some, people are upset with that character, but whatever. If you told me that's a character, then cool. But you can't, in the same movie, renege on that. Like, that's just weird.
What do you mean renege? You did not, because you did not say neg. Wow.
Renege?
That's racist.
No.
Renege.
Oh, man. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, as far as that one goes, I'm positively optimistic. No. Cautiously optimistic, but in a positive way.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm not. It's going to be a Marvel movie. That's what it is.
Do you want to do that game topic quick or call it?
What else do we got?
Well, the topic I had, which I think Juan hasn't answered. My question was, maybe do this. I think it's pretty quick, but potentially amusing. A time you played a video game and didn't know a certain mechanic was in there until later. So I'll go first because it's easy. I played. Well, there's two. One is my roommate and I played Overcooked, and it took us until probably the 25th level of 30 to realize that there was a dash button. And all you're doing is running around a kitchen trying to get enough orders out in the time to get 3 stars. Yeah. And we were messing up on a few. And then we started getting good. And then it turned out, you could just dash 8 feet, and the game became super easy. The better example, though, is I played Infamous 1 all the way up to the final boss fight, not knowing that you can upgrade all of your powers. Because when I went to the upgrade menu, the first option, which I thought you had to buy the first option, was selected, and I couldn't select it and buy it, and I couldn't figure out why. So I was like, I can't do it. And then later I looked it up. I was like, this is weird. I should have upgraded. And then I figured it out. And I had enough coins to upgrade literally every ability. So I basically played on hard mode with the most basic skills, and then all of a sudden I could call thunderstorms down and just wrecked the game.
There isn't a mechanic where they force you to upgrade?
No, they didn't force you to upgrade, and it wasn't designed well enough. Yeah, when it wasn't designed, the menu wasn't designed well enough to explain how to power up. It was Infamous 1.
Okay, yeah, they should. Infamous 1 should have.
Right, and the menu wasn't easy enough to understand where it was very clear how to upgrade your powers, and even in Infamous 2, it really wasn't. I just knew there had to be a way.
Yeah. I don't remember if it's Metal Gear Solid 2 or 3, but I didn't know that you can zoom in. Because they just
so using snipers from a distance?
Well, because they just
I have a better example.
They just introduced. I found out by the time you could snipe.
Yep.
That's why I don't remember if it's 2 or 3. Both have the sniper
3,
battle.
I think it is.
Is it 3 with the old guy?
Yeah, because it's.
But that's really early on in the game. I spent a lot of this game. I think 2.
Against the end? The end is a few hours in.
Okay, maybe it is then.
Yeah.
So they introduced whatever the game was where they introduced. No, it has to be 2 because 2 is when they introduced that you can first person.
2, yeah. Okay, yeah.
And I didn't know that you can first person. That's what I'm saying. So I'm playing the game and I'm doing it like it was on PlayStation. And no, it was 3 because my first Metal Gear is Metal Gear Solid 2.
Okay.
So whatever it was either first person or zooming in first person.
Yeah.
I think it's zooming in first person. I didn't know that you could do that. So I'm fucking from really far away, got really good. And this is why, still to this day, I have really good aim on a lot of stuff. Is because I was sitting there with the little square that they give you, the half square, and getting people from fucking far away.
I have a better one, and I'll let you end it because I don't want to go last. Because what you said reminded me. Red Dead Redemption. At a certain point in the game, you need to kill certain animals to collect. They want you to understand how to do the collectibles and side stuff. So you have to kill some birds.
Yeah.
And it took me a lot of practice to shoot down birds with a pistol, but I figured out how to do it. And I got to the point where I was shooting them down on top of a train and stuff. while moving, I could shoot down like pigeons and shit with a pistol. My roommate came in and he's like, "Why the fuck are you doing that?" And I'm like, probably 10 hours into the game, and I was like, "Oh well, you have to kill birds, and like unfortunately this is the only way to do it." And he'd been playing it, and he showed me there's Deadeye, where you slow the game down so you can line up your shots and shoot birds. I got stupidly good at shooting birds on top of a moving train in a game when I did not need to be able to do it. I'm sorry. I was so mad at myself.
Oh man.
I think this is another example, but I don't
Yeah.
know overall.
Everybody's
No,
got stories
I
like
think
this.
The games you guys mentioned were all games that actually had. Like I remember something happened to me in Red Dead that I don't remember to this day what it was. Oh, okay. In Red Dead, it was because I can't think of an original game. In Red Dead, it wasn't that. You know how it was the first game you could auto follow people.
Oh yeah.
I didn't realize you could also sprint. So I would go through the entire, there was one where you had to go across the entire map, pretty much, chasing someone, and I was just doing it at the regular trotting pace.
I have an example of that.
In Metal Gear, it was, it had to do something with one of the materials you had, like something about healing. You could use more than, I can't remember what it was. And it was something that I didn't realize while I was playing. I was watching someone else play it, and they did it, and I'm like, what?
Oh, that was me in Witcher 3.
Like,
I didn't know how to use healing potions at once. Yeah.
I think so, yes.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. Oh,
Yeah.
That reminded me, there was an RPG, and I don't remember which one it was, but that had fast travel in it, and I did not realize that it had fast travel because whenever I play an RPG, do not read anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just literally read dialogue, that's it, but I don't read any of the menus. Because there's just so many fucking menus in RPGs, particularly like something like, I want to say it's a Final Fantasy, because particularly in Final Fantasy games, there's so many menus.
Yeah.
So I didn't read it, and it very clearly tells you, like, you can just fast travel between places. So I was, like, walking throughout the whole game, which makes the game, like, fucking long.
Yeah.
I don't think I have a funny one, but I think
Maybe it's
one
Kingdom Hearts. I think it's Kingdom Hearts. Like, somehow I was,
God.
like, walking across levels in Kingdom Hearts that you did not need to walk through. You could have just fast traveled between spaces, and I don't remember what.
Yeah.
I remember in
Kingdom Hearts.
Skyrim, I didn't realize. I thought you could only fast travel to cities, not to every single icon on the map.
Oh.
That was one for me.
Oh man, and there was a mechanic in Shadow of the Colossus that I didn't realize until like the last boss. It was like one of the moves that you can do.
I didn't know you could hang off the side of the horse until I beat the game, and then I found out you could hang off the side of the horse to attack things. I was like, well, being on the horse is useless in combat. No, it's a functional thing that you can do, but the game doesn't tell you. Like, how'd you have figured that out?
But it all adds up. To
I think
this,
everybody's got
like,
stories like that.
We don't. I never read the book. Right?
I don't read the book now.
Well, now
That's
books
why.
don't exist.
Yeah, they don't
Books
exist
don't
now.
exist, but they build it into the game now better. But back then, in the day, like
Yeah.
back from PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 days, you were supposed to read the book, and the book told you like a bunch of stuff to do, and they didn't build it into the game.
Actually, now that you mention it, I think the one that happened to me, I can't remember what game it was though. For the life of me, because of that, I started reading the game manuals when they still existed, because I knew there was mechanics.
I do it with RPGs because of that now. Like Final Fantasy, like you have to talk to people to get to the manuals. Like you can't find it,
Right.
and so I would get in the dialogues, and it's just conversation levels deep of how to do every option. And I read the whole thing, and then I forgot about 80% because it's too much information.
Right. I can't remember. I can't.
I feel like everybody's got weird
Yeah,
weird
that-
stories about that. It happens. That was my topic.
I think I had a time.
Now that we kicked the one woman we have on the show off, did you guys hear about Planned Parenthood?
What about it? I mean, I'm aware of it.
Did
Yeah.
you get it
That
defunded?
they gotta get defunded.
For sure.
What do you
I
mean?
mean, I don't know.
Or that the Republican Congress
That was-
is saying they're
that's
going
what
to.
CNN was saying. Although I don't think
CNN's
it's going to happen because there's a lot of doubt. So for it to happen, all of the Republicans will have to vote in favor for it, and like 2 other people need to. And they don't even think that they for sure don't have all the Republicans. 'Cause-
Right, because some of them understand that Planned Parenthood also offers a lot of health care to women.
But I was reading about that, and they do, but their stats are all like fucked up.
Oh, I see. They're
Which I understand why they do that because there's like this big.
I mean, my sister uses them, and
there's
it's
this
not for
big
abortions.
Video. Yeah, but there's this big video from like the alt-right people who are like, this is like full of shit, blah blah blah. All they are is an abortion clinic. And I'm like watching the thing, and I'm like,
You're talking about the video that got proven was fake?
I don't know.
Because there was one showing about what they do with the aborted fetuses and all that. And that was
No.
Oh, okay.
No. It was about literally their 3% stat and how they come up to the 3% stat, which is not real.
Mm-hmm.
How they come up with it. Which, what I'm trying to say basically is like, oh, I get why they do that though, because they have such strict opposition from like the super conservative people that they need to like...
They need that number to be as low as possible.
Yeah. And, yeah. That's all I have to say. Also, if it does happen, rich liberals should fucking donate to Planned Parenthood.
I think that's what they're doing. It looks like they're trying to include the provision when they try to repeal Obamacare for the 48th time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in Texas, for example, they just tried to pass. They're trying to pass a law that if for any abortion, they have to cremate and bury the fetus, which is just a ridiculous expense that they expect Planned
I
Parenthood
thought
to
you
take
guys
on.
were about like small government and not wasting money on bullshit things. What happened?
We are. I'm not aligned with these idiots.
Okay.
You know, unfortunately, a
I
lot
thought
of
that
people
was-
are because they don't care about the fact that makes no
I
sense.
don't
They
care
just
about
want
that.
they just want to
It's
stop
one of the
abortions, and they don't
expenses
care
that,
about.
like $500 million.
Yeah.
That's all the U.S. government.
But did you
does.
hear about the other thing? Like what about this food stamps? Like food stamp fraud.
Oh, they
was
want to end,
like a 0.7%,
which is the lowest fraud of any.
Government
Yeah.
spending. We don't need our military.
Nah, not to the degree that we have it.
In the exact same position that we are, with half of it. That is a proven fact.
facts don't. I think you're missing that part of the Republican gene where facts don't.
Yeah, when Newt Gingrich.
It only happens to movies.
Newt Gingrich is the Secretary of State and came out a week ago and said, like, it's not about fact, it's about how you feel.
Yeah.
Like, so they asked him, they're like, but your argument isn't supported by any of the facts. He's like, I don't care about the facts, I care about how I feel about it. But no. The one I saw today was Mitch McConnell. They're trying to rush all of Donald Trump's cabinet people through.
Oh, yeah.
When Obama did it, they were like, you can't put anybody through until we go through all the ethics observations. And now that his wife is one of the people,
Oh, really?
he's trying to get. He's like, no, we need to rush them all through as fast as possible without any of the background
I mean,
checks.
we'll see this time if the Democrats have any backbone. I don't think they do. I think they're just going to let them roll right over and do. They're going to roll and do.
They're gonna try to pick their fights and block a few of the big ones.
I was
But
watching the Oliver Stone documentary. Like, a lot of these fucking Republicans that are sitting, well, obviously, but a lot of these people that are sitting there have been around since, like, Nixon.
yeah,
Like, the names, like, I was watching the documentary, and I was like, I recognize that name, and I was like, oh, this motherfucker's still in Congress.
yeah, it's a job or a career. It's not
Nixon.
public service
that's
thing.
Almost 40 years ago now.
Yeah.
Almost 40 years ago now.
Yeah.
40 years.
That person has for the last 40 years not really been living in America. They live in Washington D.C., surround themselves with politics, and they haven't been a part of the country for a while.
Pushing the stuff that even Nixon stopped pushing.
Yeah.
Because he was like, "Oh, this is ridiculous. This doesn't work." Because him sitting as president was just like, "Yeah, I can't do this stuff." And he like started changing because all the people were like protesting. He didn't want to. Before Carter was Carter, he didn't want what happened to Carter. It happened to him. He was swearing not to have it not happen to him. But he didn't want everyone basically like protesting on him. He was already the least popular president ever. But yeah, so it's crazy. Like all those names are still there.
Yeah.
Like Donald Rumsfeld, Dick Cheney. Those were like prominent names in government back when Nixon was president, and then they ended up becoming
Bush's
president,
cabinet.
vice president, and I feel like the same.
Vice
thing-
president.
Donald
Secretary
Rumsfeld,
of-
he was Secretary of Defense.
Yeah, whatever they were, but yeah.
It's insane.
But Bush, I didn't know. The first Bush, he was the head of the CIA.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the reason they're called a dynasty. The Kennedys are the same way. Like all those people, like
Well, they didn't all get killed off. They were.
that's the only way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. I don't know. I'm cautiously pessimistic about.
My job might not exist.
Oh, really?
No auditing.
Trump wants to get rid of Sarbanes-Oxley.
Who?
Sarbanes-Oxley is a law that basically says, to summarize it's having controls in place. So, for example, the guy who writes checks for accounts payable isn't the same person receiving the PO. So I can't write a PO with my name on it and cash the check to myself and then be the person who verifies that the checks didn't go to employees. That could all be the same person. So, like, there was ridiculous fraud like Enron, like. That was what Sarbanes-Oxley is supposed to prevent. It makes a lot of extra work for companies. You could argue it's way too much, but Trump wants to flat out get rid of it,
It's not.
and that's a big portion of what the people in my part of the company do. And if that happened, I think they'd actually have layoffs. They'd have to. There wouldn't be enough work for us.
Right. And then actually taxes are going up on some people.
Yeah.
As opposed to going down. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I need to get married.
I don't know if people.
Well, I think with Trump's plan, it would go down on.
No.
It's going to go down on the very wealthy, and it's the middle class.
The
who it's
very
going to go
wealthy
up
and the
on.
very poor are going to go down.
Yeah.
The middle class is going up.
Yep.
And middle class is fine as long as you're married and
Yeah.
the super conservative idea of what life is.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if somehow, well, they would get rid of same-sex marriage, but yeah.
They won't.
Trump can. It's going to be interesting to see how much they tout states' rights when people like states like California and New York are going to resist almost everything they do. I think California has come out pretty straightforward and said, like, anything Trump's tried to do to fuck with what we do here, we're going to sue them. Because...
yeah, but that's the same thing as all the states that are trying to sue Obama for everything he's done too. Just the opposite.
Yeah, but no, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's going to be funny to see how they will react to that one.
Oh, to a state.
The shoe is literally... The tables have turned.
Yeah.
Now the blue states are going to be the ones claiming states.
Well, that's what that Mitch McConnell thing is he's literally doing the
like,
exact opposite now that it's his party getting to do it.
And now they're going to bitch about... Well, I don't know. I don't have faith in the...
I don't trust either party, to be fair. I don't really like the Democrats
as far
either.
as the Congress goes. Like,
Yeah, we've seen
what
in this
state by
election that the
state
Democrats
does,
are equally corrupted.
Yeah, what the states do, it's going to be, I think, more... I don't want to say interesting in a positive way, but it's going to be more interesting to see what...
Yeah, like the Democrats are not upset that they're getting rid of the ethics committee.
Yeah, of course not, because they wanted to get rid of it too.
Yeah.
So
I'm just glad it didn't happen because
Yeah.
that'd be
Like last
ridiculous. But I care less about getting rid of the ethics committee, more about the fact that they would have made anonymous
Yeah.
whistleblowing illegal. Like you can't anonymously whistleblow, which means no one would ever whistleblow, ever.
Oh, yeah, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
You know what? I'm fine with if they want to push states' rights. That's fine. If we stop giving money to because there are states who are net taking money from the federal
California,
government.
I don't know how true this stat is, but California supposedly, if it was its own country, it'd have the 6th largest economy in the world.
It's somewhere up
It's-
there. And a lot of the states like Mississippi, Louisiana take way more money out of the federal
people who
government
bitch
than they
about-
raise in taxes.
People bitching about California and New York are the ones who take most
I
of
think
the
you gotta
money.
go out there and see like the incredible amount of wealth that they have. Like imagine the wealth
California?
that you see in Manhattan, but expanded to like
You actually have land to use it on.
That's
Yeah.
like the wealth of Manhattan expanded. Like I remember going
yeah, also
down
Hollywood. I
to
forget
Palo
about
Alto.
Yeah.
I went down to Palo Alto and I was like, holy shit! And I just popped up my what's the name of this app? But the app where you can look at the prices of houses as you're
Zillow.
driving.
All right.
Zillow.
Zillow?
Yeah. So as you're driving, Zillow just like pops up like the houses near you that are for sale and the prices, and that was literally like the least expensive house was 1.85 million
Jesus Christ.
for a 30-minute drive.
I always remember when we
What do you
went...
mean? A 30-minute drive?
Like for 30 minutes of me driving.
Oh, you were just seeing houses all, yeah.
1.85 million.
Yeah,
I
it's
wa-
like when I was out in
yeah.
Napa Valley, the people who owned the vineyard I was at, which was a super small
I didn't-
vineyard, was the people who invented Embassy Suites and sold it to Marriott. Like,
no,
those are
we
the
went
types of
to
people.
when we were in LA a few years ago, and we took the bus to downtown LA. We walked through Beverly Hills. I think.
Yeah.
I was like, I've never seen
That
stuff.
doesn't even look.
No, I know, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But that already
That's
looks
what I'm trying
pretty
to say. Like,
extravagant.
that doesn't even look anywhere near as wealthy as what I'm talking about.
I believe you. Yeah,
Yeah,
It's insane.
because that was interesting because we were in the heart of Los Angeles, but it was still a small piece of land compared to like what I saw.
But it won't matter when their entire state dries up from lack of water.
Or fucking goes into the ground like in that movie.
Or just breaks
San
off.
Andreas.
Yeah.
And then it goes into the ground.
Yeah,
I thought it like
collapses.
breaks off.
It collapses and the two fall to each other. It like collapses down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, that got depressing at the end.
Maybe-
I tried to end it on like...
May we live in interesting times.
Yeah.
As whoever the hell that said was.
Yeah.
Corner.
That was Game Corner? Or is it the end?
No, we're starting it.
We just talked about games.
Yeah, and then we shifted focus.
Yeah.
No, we were talking about games the whole. We started.
Yeah, we just started games.
Yeah, this hasn't been the official game. Corner.
So what'd you think about the Vive?
No, we're talking about fucking the Nintendo
Anticipation for
Switch.
2017?
Comes out what tomorrow?
No.
Thursday
We're
is the
recording
announcement.
this
Thursday?
Sunday the 8th of January. Thursday is the official announcement of price, specs, release date, and release games.
Any predictions?
Definitely. So, hey, stop touching yourself. Hey, no respect. Damn dogs. No.
You should talk to
predictions?
women that way.
Don't talk to bitches, but not bitches that way.
Yes.
He's not a bitch.
He's not a bitch.
No.
His mom's a bitch.
Yeah.
Mom's a bitch.
My
He's
predictions.
like, no, she's not.
Your sister's a bitch.
You got a sister?
What about the Switch?
No He's at predictions.
Oh, yeah.
I think it'll be price-wise, $250. I think is a good price. I saw
$250 for base, right?
for base, yeah, with nothing in it.
Yeah, and I think that's like going to be something that you're not supposed to buy.
Yeah. Like,
Oh, you think there's going to be different versions?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think like base.
They'll
means
probably
that
do what
you
the
don't
Wii U
get-
did.
Like I think base means you don't get the peripheral to make it mobile.
Oh, like that? Not even. I was
Yeah.
thinking more like a hard drive space because the
Oh,
Wii U
yeah.
came out like with the 8 gigabyte and a 32 gigabyte.
And you're going to want more.
Yeah.
You're gonna need more.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like no like.
Yeah, it's like a digital game.
I
Like
think it's
32 is a game.
I think 250.
Fucking Battlefield
Not if you're
1
playing Battlefield.
Battlefield 1 is 64 gigabytes.
Right.
GTA 5 is like 70.
Destiny was like 53 when I re-downloaded it. Yeah.
I don't know what they do.
Skyrim, which was 45.
I think 250 comes out mid-March around the same time that fucking Mass Effect comes out, so I will probably keep my Switch in the box and keep my Mass Effect instead. Because I really want to play Zelda, and I'll probably play it on the go. I want it for portability mostly. I don't really care too much about putting it on TV. I'd love to play, my 600th hour of Skyrim on the train. But that's about it. I'm pre-ordering it for sure.
I think 300 is going to be the one that you're supposed to buy. So the middle, like
I'll say
it comes with
350.
It comes with the game and it comes with like some sort of peripheral. I think 350 is the higher end. So I think 300 is going to be where you buy it at, like the one that everybody's supposed to buy it at. It's going to be the equivalent of like. That's not a good example. It's going to be the equivalent of like. None of those are good examples. Actually. They only had 2 options, and I think they're going to have 3 options. Because Nintendo always has like 3 or 4 options. So I think 300. I think announcement that comes out this week is that not every game, but they're going to pick probably like 10 games that are going to be available on the store that are backwards compatible
that's true.
with the release, and they're going to probably like, and those are the 10 games that are going to happen. They're not going to do it for everything, and it's going to be only those 10 games. I can't say what those 10 games are because I've been playing
Super Mario World, Super Mario Brothers, Link to the Past,
Pokemon Sun and Moon.
Pokemon, Red and Blue,
Sun and Moon.
Sun and Moon.
I'd be very surprised if they didn't do it with Sun and Moon.
They said some weird thing about it.
They still haven't officially.
They gave a
stopped
non-answer on that.
selling the Nintendo 3DS.
It doesn't matter because you still want to get people who don't want to have a 3DS or people who do have a 3DS.
Yeah, if you haven't bought Pokemon Sun and Moon by March, like
you wait.
Yeah, they're not gonna sell, but they're not gonna be selling many versions of that on the 3DS in March.
The Sun and Moon, they asked them about that and they didn't. They gave a non-answer. Not a no or a yes, but they gave like that same non-answer that.
I assume you'll be able to port your save file over.
I think it'll be the last Pokemon. I think it'll be Pokemon X and Y.
Nah,
No.
that one wasn't as popular as the Sun and Moon.
No, my prediction is you get to port your save file from X and Y over onto the Switch.
Oh, you done?
Yeah, that's it. Something.
That's all I have because I really haven't been following it much. I'll end up buying one. It's going to stay in the box until I pass my exam, which I hope will be in March. It might be until May, but whatever. The only thing I'm playing is Zelda, and I'm not playing online, so who cares when I play it?
Right.
There's no multiplayer to that.
You take your exam that soon?
March, yeah, probably.
Wow.
Well, and then if I fail, I'll take it in the end of April.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's about it. Other games to come out. I really don't know much. I would expect.
Oh, we have a Mass Effect date, like I mentioned before.
We have
March 21st.
Right, but that's not going to be on the.
No, it's not.
Switch.
They flat out said, but I got that for.
I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't hear about a Smash Bros. By the end of the year. Actually,
I think they'll
I wouldn't be
announce,
surprised
like,
if
the
they've been
last
working on one.
Yeah, I'll
When did the last one come out?
Like 2015.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, we have a Switch.
Yeah,
like they're like, we have a Switch one, and
There's
here's
a
what
rumor
it
that
is.
it's going to be Splatoon Switch version.
I wouldn't be surprised if Splatoon was one of the 10 that they're like reporting it
They showed
because
it
that
in the
was
intro
one of the
video.
best games they had in the year. It's like the only ones I know about.
They showed it. I saw a comparison screenshot of like the current of the Wii U version and the version they showed in their intro video, and the intro video has like way more like graphic stuff going on and like textures and all that stuff. So that makes sense. I think
Yeah. And that's all I have to say on it. I don't know. We'll see. But I'll end up pre-ordering one. Worst case scenario, I'm gonna sell it when they're sold out and worth a lot more.
That's it.
And I think that's all we got for me.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
talked about the Vive too early,
Yeah.
too soon.
We vibed too soon.
Too soon.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and at the very end of the announcement, Nintendo says, and we're working on a VR headset
There's supposed to be capability with it, in some weird way.
for the Switch to work with.
Some VR thing. if the PS4 works with it, then
Yeah, I'm just
So
picturing trying to travel with it. And
it's
like,
like
it's
slightly
gonna be
weaker
very
than
good.
the
It's gonna
PS4.
be
Is
like
that
cardboard.
what it is? It's like more powerful than Xbox One, like graphics wise.
When it's plugged into your TV, you mean?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then-
They usually limit you to one per. Oh, this won't be on Amazon pre-order, right?
Yeah, I would assume it would.
They
be.
fixed that
Oh,
relationship.
they did?
Yeah.
They had a special.
Which is good 'cause I got a lot of
3DS
money on
for
that.
Black Friday.
Oh,
The, with all the Mario stuff on it. I don't know if you saw
Oh,
that.
they have that on Amazon?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll probably buy two now. That's all I got.
Yeah.
I have no questions
I
for
think
this
we
week.
hit enough.
Yeah, I think we can end it.
49.
Alright.
Yeah, so if you want to check us out, it's ESSpod.com,
So this
where
is
you can find all 150 episodes plus bonus episodes. Tweet to us at ESS Podcast. Let us know what you think of number 150. And this will be up on abnormalentertainment.com, and their Twitter is abnormal podcast.
Alright, till next. Oh, wait, that's not.
Till next time.
Next time.
I'll edit it. I'll edit it.
Till the future.
Till
Till next time.
maybe. I guess.
Are we saying it without saying it, or are we saying it?
I think we're saying it without saying it.
Okay.
This has been
Let's do it over. Say till next. Just say till next time.
I was going to do till next week and then be like, oh no, that's not right.
Yeah.
And then just cut
Okay.
it.
So. Okay. So. Right.
Till next week. I don't know if that's right.
Yeah. Well,
That doesn't sound right. Oh, whatever. I like the first one.
I'll edit it.
Yeah. We done.
Do it if I know.
Yeah.
Head to abnormalentertainment.com for all of our podcasts and blogs. Go to cinemaheadcheese.com for our movie reviews and news. Don't forget our YouTube channels, Abnormal Podcast and Cinema Head Cheese. Get us on Twitter, @AbnormalPodcast. And find all of our shows and Abnormal Entertainment on Facebook.
You've been listening to the Abnormal Entertainment Network.